The female doctor seems to be the Buddhist saintess Miao Tan. It appears she is also here to undergo the red dust tribulation. Chun Sansi wasn't sure if Miao Tan recognized him. Anyway, they did not take action against each other and temporarily coexisted peacefully. That year, the rebel army of Qi rose everywhere, causing chaos across the land, which prompted the court to increase taxes again, adding insult to injury for the impoverished and sick populace. The 41st year of Tianwu. Something happened to the Zhang family. Zhang Wei of the households refused to collude with the new magistrate, resulting in being framed with a random crime, dismissed from his post, and nearly exiled to military service. The eldest, Zhang Ping, left his homeland once again to take the imperial examination. The second, Zhang En, somehow picked up a set of commonplace talisman inheritances and some spirit stones, and because of his astonishing qualification, he learned how to use talismans. Thus, he used this to become a charlatan, amassing a large following within less than a year. The third son joined the army not long ago and was implicated and ostracized due to their father's situation. That year, the turmoil within Qi intensified. The surrounding prefecture cities to their location all fell into chaos. The taxes in Gunyu town became heavier, and they began conscripting the able-bodied men into the army. In this kind of situation, Chun Sansi felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity, often thinking it seemed like he had returned to the days in Payong. Except that back then he was an active participant, and now he was more of a bystander. I can't take action. According to the summaries of cultivators from past generations, during the red dust tribulation, under no circumstance can one use spells to harm others. Otherwise, it would be a waste of time. However, even after being an ordinary person for 3 years here, Chun Sansi still hadn't experienced the so-called moment of enlightenment. He wondered when his red dust tribulation would end and hoped it wouldn't really take decades. The 42nd year of Tianwu. Both parents and Zhang Wei passed away in the same year. The eldest, Zhang Ping, once again failed the exams. The second, Zhang En, thrived outside, relying on spirit stones and several blinding techniques, earning a reputation as a grandmaster founder of a sect, especially his talismanic water, claimed to cure all diseases and keep one from hunger for 10 days with a single bowl. The third, Zhang Shi, offended someone, fled Gunyu town, and his whereabouts are unknown. In the once spacious house, only Chun Sansi remained. That night, someone pushed open the door. Getting up to check, he found Zhang Ping, reeking of alcohol, had returned. Emitting an aura of despondency, he dragged Chun Sansi to drink, muttering persistently at the table, unable to understand why the court was so corrupt and why he, with all his talent and ambitions, had no place to apply them. Every time the examination results come out, those who pass are either descendants of nobles or people of influential families. For us children of humble origins, there seems to be no future in sight. Unfair, unfair. Creak. While they were talking, the long-absent second son, Zhang En, returned in haste, dust-laden and travel-worn. For the past 2 years, he had prospered outside using talismans with no lethality, amassing an unexpected fortune, always coming back in grandeur. But today, he was wearing a Taoist robe, looking particularly solemn, and after sitting down quietly, he began pouring himself a drink. "Second brother, were you exposed?" Zhang Ping reprimanded drunkenly. "I told you long ago not to engage in such deceitful activities. I can't save them." Zhang En suddenly choked with sobs. Chun Sansi looked over and asked, "What do you mean by that?" "Refugees." Zhang En's eyes turned red, and his voice trembled. "For a copper coin, they could exchange it for a bowl of talismanic water from me. But my talismanic water actually can't cure any diseases, nor can it stave off hunger. It's just ash from burnt herbs." He couldn't forget. An old woman led her granddaughter, trembling as she handed over the last copper coin from their household to him, pleading with this heavenly master for a bowl of talismanic water to prevent the little girl from starving to death. But it was all fake. Fake. Alas! Having heard this, Zhang Ping sighed deeply, exclaiming sorrowfully, In such a world, how tragic it is. Actually, Chan Sansi interrupted the two. You need not complain about the world here. You can change it with your own strength. Change. Zhang Ping chuckled bitterly. Sure too. I've failed the exams multiple times, unable to even enter the capital city to offer strategic advice. So what can I change? Zhang Ping. Chan Sansi met his gaze, enunciating every word. If you can't enter the capital city by exams, can't you fight your way in? Zhang Ping's body shook. Chan Sansi turned to the second brother. Zhang En, your talismanic water is fake, but the grain in government granaries is real. Zhang En's pupils trembled violently. You're right. Zhang Ping slapped the table, standing up fiercely, bloodshot eyes blazing. Since I can't pass the exams, I won't take them. If the court is riddled with issues, then let's just overthrow it and start afresh. The smell of meat and wine at the rich gates, while the bones of the frozen litter the roads. Zhang En also spoke firmly. Since they call me the Heavenly Master, I absolutely cannot let my followers starve to death again. Well, but what should we do next? After their passionate declarations, both seemed somewhat at a loss. Zhang Ping, if I'm not mistaken, you've befriended the son of a salt merchant over the years whose family is in turmoil. You could bring him over to join us. Zhang En, your followers alone in our surrounding areas add up to more than 5,000, right? Combining these two, doesn't it mean having both manpower and resources? Chan Sansi listed out clearly. The closest county to us, Qing'an County, has one of the largest granaries in the prefecture city, with not much defensive force either. Hearing his detailed rebellion plan, the Zhang family brothers exchanged looks. Sure too. Didn't you say you only knew hunting? I've merely read some military strategies. Chan Sansi continued with the main topic. Starting tomorrow, begin preparing formally. Remember to proceed step by step as I've instructed, don't rush, and never reveal our plans. All right. The two memorized the plan firmly, and before dawn, they left in a hurry. Hiss! Chan Sansi leaned back in his chair, shaking his head, mocking himself. This is really a kind of occupational hazard, the 43rd year of Tianwu. With Chan Sansi's guidance behind the scenes, the Zhang family brothers officially raised an army in rebellion. In just 1 year, they had amassed a rebellious army numbering in the hundreds of thousands, gaining immense momentum and taking control of 2 states. In such chaos, it was naturally impossible for Chan Sansi to remain in the mountains. Upholding the principle of not using spells to kill, he followed the brothers' army, serving as the military strategist behind the scenes. The 44th year of Tianwu. This was the 5th year of Chan Sansi's experience with the Red Dust Tribulation, and he still had not felt the so-called moment of enlightenment, instead inadvertently turning the Qi upside down. Having come here, he once more became a rebel. What should I do about this? Chan Sansi was slightly anxious. If this drags on for a decade or more, wouldn't that be too long? Where's the problem? He was certain he had fully integrated into the Red Dust, not using any spells, not even martial arts. Amitabha Buddha. A voice chanting the Buddha's name sounded by his ears. Chan Sansi turned to see the veiled Buddhist saintess leading a young, bald-headed figure into the tent. Over these years, she disguised as a medical officer, blending into their army. Chan Sansi remained wary, but seeing she had no impact on him, he did not expose her. After all, neither wanted to interrupt their own Red Dust Tribulation easily. Miaotan Bodhisattva, are you planning to stop acting? Chan Sansi teased. Miaotan's lips parted slightly. Mr. Chun, haven't you also revealed your hand? I consider my disguise technique good enough to fool nascent soul cultivators. Chan Sansi asked curiously. I wonder how Zen Master Miaotan saw through it? Master Chen's disguise technique is indeed impressive. I never saw through it, Miaotan said unhurriedly. It's just that the mixture of murderous karma and great mercy around Master Chun is too unusual, highly distinguishable. Master Miaotan sought me out. It's not just for idle chatter, is it? Chan Sansi asked in a deep voice. Enough. Master Miaotan said sternly, "Stop creating more bloodshed." Bloodshed? Chun Sansi said perplexedly, "I haven't killed a soul in the past 5 years. But this chaos, you instigated it." A trace of compassion appeared in Master Miaotan's cold, deep eyes. "Originally, it was just a small disturbance, but under your manipulation, it turned into a worldwide chaos. The dead number in the millions. So that's what you're referring to." Chun Sansi shook his head. "I'm saving people, not killing them." "Absurd," the young man beside the holy daughter reprimanded. "Everywhere the rebel army passes is littered with corpses, and these rebels were gathered together by the Zhang brothers under your guidance. You may not hold a knife, but these people are all killed by you. You monks are foolish with your chanting. Even a bodhisattva reincarnated is no exception." Chun Sansi smiled and shook his head, saying, "Let me ask the bodhisattva, before this chaos, was the life of people in the world good?" Master Miaotan hesitated for a moment, then replied, "Amitabha Buddha, the suffering of the masses has been long indeed." "That's correct," Chun Sansi asserted. "Only through such a great chaos can the world be greatly governed, and only with great governance can there be a chance for a flourishing peace. It was harsh before, but at least they were alive, and now what? Wars everywhere. Bodies lie across lands. It's worse than before." Huikong loudly retorted, "You, stop making false arguments here. Even without me, this great war would have come. It was inevitable." Chun Sansi said calmly, "What I am doing is helping them quicken this process, to minimize casualties as much as possible." "You're still arguing?" Huikong was furious. "Noisy." Chun Sansi suddenly intensified his tone. Though he didn't release his divine sense or cast a spell, just this reprimand made Monk Huikong's hair stand on end. Instinctively, he took a few steps back, swallowed hard, and dared not speak again. "I cannot agree with your words, Mr. Chun." Master Miaotan clasped her hands together. "I only hope you won't involve yourself any further in these matters to prevent more bloodshed." "Oh!" Chun Sansi put down the scroll in his hand. "So, Master Miaotan, are you intent on opposing me?" "Just a reminder," Master Miaotan said softly. "If you insist on participating, I fear I will have to intervene myself." "Have to intervene myself?" While Chun Sansi was wondering, a soldier barged into the tent. "Strategist, it's bad. It's terrible. Commander Zhang and his men were ambushed in the canyon and are trapped. The situation is dire." "What did you say?" Chun Sansi was surprised. "I've calculated meticulously. From Chunlei City at most only 2,000 reinforcements could be dispatched, and the military officers are mediocre. How could General Zhang be trapped?" "They can fly," the soldier stammered. "The enemy's general emits a golden light. He can fly and kill with a flying sword." "A cultivator?" Chun Sansi realized suddenly. It seems even in the most barren places, cultivators still appear. According to his subordinate's report, it shouldn't be a high-realm cultivator. Otherwise, Zhang Ping and others wouldn't just be trapped but annihilated. However, even a foundation establishment cultivator is troublesome at this juncture. After hesitating for a moment, he instructed, "I see. Prepare the horse." The approacher is called Heavenly Mystic One, Master Miaotan informed, originally a loose cultivator from the chaotic wilderness Yongzhou, facing an unattainable breakthrough and life nearing end. 2 years ago, he brought his descendants to Dachi, intending to use his cultivation to secure wealth and honor here for himself and his offspring. With your cultivation, you could effortlessly deal with him, but that would break the practice of not using cultivation publicly while experiencing the red dust. So, Mr. Chun, I hope you seize the chance to stop. After the Zhang brothers are dead, the rebels will soon scatter. This land can restore peace sooner, preventing more bloodshed, and you can continue your red dust practice." "Red dust?" Chun Sansi asked, "Master Miaotan, would you like to discuss what you think red dust is? How should one overcome this red dust tribulation?" "No more than entering the red dust and then transcending it," Master Miaotan explained slowly. Involving oneself deeply with the worldly matters as you do, Taoist, how could one possibly transcend beyond it? Transcendence. Chun Sansi took a deep breath. Ultimately, it's about distinguishing ourselves from them. We are immortal cultivators striving for longevity, while they are but a grain of sand in the vast sea, ultimately turning to dust. Thus, we can sympathize but also look down on the mortal beings, but never meet them as equals, nor get deeply involved. Indeed so, Master Miaotan agreed. Chun Sansi further said, since you understand so well, why haven't you comprehended the red dust tribulation? Amit Ba Buddha. Master Miaotan chanted a Buddha's name. I still have a question I haven't figured out. Then ponder slowly on it. Chun Sansi stood up and walked out of the tent. Master Miaotan, looking at his silhouette, asked, Mr. Chun, where are you intending to go? To save people. Fonglong Canyon. The Yongla army of the Zhang brothers fell into chaos. Elder brother Zhang Ping and second brother Zhang and fought while retreating, eventually reaching the edge of a cliff, with nowhere else to go. Protect the commander. One by one, soldiers charged forward, but a golden light swept past, causing them to fall in quick succession, turning into a mound of corpses. As I looked through the crowd, I saw a middle-aged man in a Taoist robe among the chaotic army, continually making hand signs to cast spells. He was the one controlling the flying sword, killing people from afar. Old too, what on earth is this guy? Zhang Ping's expression looked grim. Even a first-rate master of Da Qi can't achieve this. He should be. Zhang An said. He should be a cultivator. A cultivator? Zhang Ping was perplexed. I read in that talismanic scripture that there are people in the world who can devour nature's spiritual energy to cultivate themselves, ascending to the heavens and delving into the earth, living for eternity. Zhang An said, this person might be a cultivator. An immortal? There are immortals in the court. Zhang Ping exclaimed in horror. Is heaven going to destroy me? While the two were speaking, the flying sword slaughtered soldiers around them as easily as cutting through melons. A man from the skies descended. He stroked his beard. Young friends, you should stop struggling. In front of this immortal master, no matter how many soldiers you have, it's useless. I'll fight you. Zhang An shouted loudly, took out a talisman, and activated it with a spirit stone and essence blood, transforming it into a fireball that smashed toward him. Oh! The man raised his hand and broke the fireball with a sword, then said in surprise, you haven't even reached the Qi refining first level, yet you can use a talisman? He brought his two fingers together and passed them before his eyes, casting investigation magic. Ah, so it's the innate elixir body, but unfortunately it's a non-mainstream mixed spirit root, Dai. As he said this, he was about to slay the two with a sword. Wait! At that moment, a man riding a tall steed hurried over. It's Prince Duan. The man asked, why not let me directly eliminate the two leaders? Killing them alone won't do. Prince Duan said, in the rebel army, there's also a strategist known as Mr. Shi. He's unrivaled in wit and commands the troops like a deity, like the reappearance of a military ancestor. The reason for today's momentum in the rebel army is entirely cultivated by him. If we kill the Zhang brothers, the person surnamed Shi will retreat to Yu State, allowing the rebels to recuperate and come back stronger. The best method is to keep these two alive and find a way to lure their strategist out. Once Mr. Shi is dead, no matter how many rebel troops there are, they are just a disorganized mob. You're dreaming. The Zhang brothers cursed. Our strategist is shrewd. He'll never be lured by your tricks. Exactly. Zhang An followed. At this point, you can kill or flay us however you want. But afterward, Shi too will definitely come back for revenge. Revenge. They were ready to die heroically when a scout came galloping quickly. Prince, the rebel army has reinforcements coming. So soon? Prince Duan asked. How many people are coming? One. The scout replied. One person is called reinforcements? You must be crazy. Prince Duan kicked him to the ground. He came to the edge of the cliff and looked down, then was shocked. It's really just one person? The situation was that the major forces of the rebel army had been dispersed, leaving only a few elites, trapped within the continuous reinforcements from the court. On the outermost edge of the army, one rider was racing through the dust towards the thousands of soldiers. Prince Duan used his power, called out in a mocking and disdainful tone, "Who is coming?" The visitor did not respond. Instead, the Zhang brothers recognized the face. "Sure too? Sure too, are you crazy? What are you doing here?" "He's here alone." They instinctively thought Chun Sansi might have some cunning plan, but as time passed, it became clear that this guy really came all by himself. So this person is Mr. Shi after all. Prince Duan felt a twinge of fear upon hearing his name, but quickly calmed down upon seeing the man beside him. He sneered, ordered, "Kill him! I want to see what trick this person with the surname Shi has up his sleeve." However, before his order was conveyed, Chun Sansi charged alone towards the army formation. And then, as if entering an uninhabited territory, the Zhang brothers were dumbfounded. They watched with their own eyes. A man they had been with for years, who had never fought anyone, who almost single-handedly broke through the court's army formation with just a gun and a horse. "Sure too. You said you can't do martial arts," Zhang Ping excitedly shouted. "Isn't this person a strategist?" Prince Duan was astonished. "He actually possesses such martial prowess." "Yes," the man praised. "This martial arts is even more refined than the martial cultivators I've seen in the cultivation world. Unfortunately, he's ultimately just a mortal." "Report." Someone came to report in a panic. "Prince, we can't hold him off. That person is about to come up here." "If we can't hold him off, then don't try anymore," the man said playfully. "Let him come up. Then it'll be neat and tidy, saving me trouble in the future." Among the chaotic army, the martial arts Chun Sansi displayed did not surpass the first-rate masters of Da Qi. But even so, he relied on extreme divine power to forcefully fight his way to the top. "Sure too. Don't mind us." Zhang shouted at him. "This guy is a cultivator. No matter how strong your martial arts are, you're no match for him." Chun Sansi ignored them and just dismounted, coming to stand in front of them. Meanwhile, on another mountain peak, Master Miaotan and Monk Huikong were observing the scene on the opposite side. "This guy," Monk Huikong murmured. "He actually came to save people. Is he not prepared to face the red dust tribulation?" "Amit Ba Buddha," Master Miaotan sighed. "He's sunk too deep into the red dust, beyond saving." Monk Huikong said, "I heard from my master that many powerful cultivators failed their red dust tribulation. It seems Chen Lei is no exception." "I am Duan Tianya." "Greetings, Mr. Shi." Prince Duan bowed respectfully. "I've long heard of your unrivaled wit, but I didn't expect your martial arts to also be world-class. Unfortunately, today, no matter how great your skills, you are no match for a mortal master. I am a man who values talent. How about this? As long as you are willing to serve the court, all previous matters can be written off, and in the future, becoming a marquis and minister is guaranteed." Chun Sansi didn't respond. He just said indifferently, "Release them." "Them?" Prince Duan glanced back, refusing. "No, the Zhang brothers are heavily guilty. If they don't die, the rebel army won't give up." "Prince Duan, there's no need to waste words with him." The man lost patience, made a sword finger seal, suspended the flying sword in front of him, aimed at the white robe's neck, and coldly said, "Kid, I'm giving you two options. Either listen to Prince Duan, save your life, or die alongside these two with the surname Zhang. You only have 10 counts to decide." 10. 9. "Sure too. Quickly go, quickly go." The Zhang brothers shouted desperately. "Chen Lei, my junior uncle asked me to remind you." On the other side, Monk Huikong transmitted a message. Failing the red dust tribulation won't lead to death and path destruction like the heavenly tribulation, but it will mean saying goodbye to the nascent soul realm. If you persist and insist on taking action, you'll surely waste your lifespan and die aging. Chun Sansi did not respond. He simply watched the flying sword approaching him. 5. 4. Red dust tribulation. Chun Sansi felt a sense of bewilderment. They weren't wrong. Whether it's De Qi or the Zhang brothers, neither really has much connection to him. Even if they die, so what? In contrast, if I really break my vow and ruin my immortal path over this matter, it will not only be my issue but also affect the entire Great Han. Red dust tribulation to transcend the world. Miao Tan said, to overcome the red dust tribulation, one must genuinely set themselves apart from ordinary people. Only by understanding the difference between immortals and mortals, placing oneself outside of worldly affairs, can one transcend them. Otherwise, one will be trapped in the world, unable to break through. According to this theory, if Chun Sansi were to turn around and leave now, perhaps he could instantly comprehend the red dust. Yet he always felt it shouldn't be that way. It wasn't sympathy for the Zhang brothers, but rather he believed something was amiss. Red dust tribulation. Actually, it is more aimed at Tianshui cultivators. The majority of Tianshui cultivators, from a young age, join a sect or follow family in cultivation, having little experience in worldly life. Lacking this experience, if not undergone, naturally one cannot attain sudden enlightenment. But Chun Sansi, when he first came to this world, he was nothing but a genuine commoner. At first, he had never heard of cultivation or immortality, only knowing whether there would be rice for the pot tomorrow. Later on, whether it was rebelling to ascend the throne or stepping into the cultivation world, he never severed ties with those around him. Even bearing the responsibility of protecting the Great Han was one of Chun Sansi's main motivations for diligent cultivation. But now this red dust tribulation demands he cut off everything. Isn't that against his true desire? What enlightenment can come from it? Could it be? Does Chun Sansi becoming the emperor mean he is destined not to become an immortal? Absurd. Ultimately, isn't the red dust tribulation just about comprehending the Tao? How can everyone's path be the same? Anyone can sever worldly ties and cultivate supreme forgetting emotions, but Chun Sansi cannot. His path is the Great Han, is the prayer bead in his hand. Upon realizing this, Chun Sansi's heart realm clarity finally reached a realization. In truth, he does not need to undergo any red dust tribulation. 2. 1. Simultaneously, Tianxian Taoist ended his countdown, a fierce expression arising on his face. Looks like you, kid, refuse the toast only to drink the forfeit, then you shall die. With a single-handed spell, he was about to control the flying sword to directly behead the white robe. Prince Duan wore a hint of regret on his face. The Zhang brothers looked full of reluctance. However, the scene that followed was utterly opposite to what they imagined. Although Chun Sansi didn't move, everyone saw him as if he had become a different person. An aura of immense pressure spread around him, nearly materializing, as if invisible giant hands were choking their throats, leaving them almost breathless. Bang! The golden light flying sword, when only half an inch away from the white robe, suddenly stopped as if it had struck an impenetrable wall, unable to advance any further. In Chun Sansi's deep pupils, crimson flames suddenly ignited. In that instant of direct eye contact, indescribable terror filled Tianxian Taoist's eyes. He didn't even have time to speak before he wailed, blood streaming from all orifices, falling to his death. Just a single glance, and he actually gazed this immortal master alive to death. Dead silence. Atop the mountain, it descended into deathly silence. Prince Duan was struck as if by lightning, looking at the scene before him, doubting his own eyes. The immortal master De Qi, hired with significant cost, was killed by the rebel army strategist without the slightest effort. Turns out, the person hidden behind the rebel army was also an immortal master, and perhaps a genuine immortal. Sure too, you. The Zhang brothers were utterly astonished. After a long time of shock, they finally gathered their senses. Indeed, this makes sense. No wonder Shi always seemed all-knowing. Turns out he is the legendary immortal descended to the mortal world. Immortal, aid us. Heaven is dead, Yongla shall rise. Zhang En was the first to react. While soldiers on both sides remained in shock, he shouted out and broke free from restraint, picking up the sword on the ground and stabbing Prince Duan to death with one strike. Prince Duan is dead. The immortal master is slain. You court hounds, why not surrender now? The situation reversed again. The heads of Prince Duan and Tianxian Daoist, like bombs, caused massive panic among the court's troops. With Chun Sanxi's help, the Zhang brothers regrouped the scattered troops around and staged a comeback. Until dawn the next day, the Yongla army seized the city ahead smoothly as planned, achieving a great victory. Sure, too. Halfway through his speech, Zhang Ping corrected, "Immortal Master, are you preparing to leave?" "Indeed." Chun Sanxi replied honestly, "I am a cultivator from a distant land. I came to Dachi for a worldly trial. Now that my trial is over, it is time for me to leave." "Immortal Master," Zhang En bowed. "Thank you for your years of aid to us brothers and the Yongla army. Such great kindness and virtue. There is no way to repay it. No need to be polite." Chun Sanxi spoke calmly. "You need not thank me. Just ensure in future actions you can face those brothers who died fighting for you. Rest assured." Zhang En patted his chest. "If we can clear the forces in the future, I shall certainly not forget my original aspiration, bringing back peace to the world." As he spoke, the eldest Zhang Ping gave him a hostile glance. Chun Sanxi noticed this but said nothing. Now within the rebel forces, each Zhang brother has their sphere of influence. Once the war ends, if no one voluntarily relinquishes power, conflict between brothers is inevitable. But this really has nothing to do with him anymore. Remember what I've told you, win the hearts of the people to win the world. Under no circumstances should you massacre or harm the populace. Otherwise, eventually, someone will replace you. Until we meet again. With that said, Chun Sanxi transformed into a stream of light and disappeared in an instant. Shu, Monk Hui Kong stood at a distance and witnessed the scene. This Chun Lei, although he has reverted from his vow, why does it seem as if he has reached enlightenment instead? Indeed, Master Miaotan's clear eyes showed a hint of confusion. "I am also puzzled." "It's impossible," Monk Huikong said incomprehensibly. "Over the years, I've carefully reviewed records on the red dust tribulation from various sects, and all conclusions state that one must transcend the red dust to achieve enlightenment. So why is he so deeply entangled yet able to achieve tribulation smoothly? Amit Buddha, in the mundane world, there must be karmic reasons behind all seemingly extraordinary matters." Master Miaotan sighed. "Perhaps there is naturally a grand truth of Buddhist law within this Mr. Chun. What should we do next?" Huikong asked. "Should we leave this place?" "Let's wait a little longer," Miaotan said meaningfully. "It seems I need to carefully consider the words Mr. Chun said before." Dayun Mountain. Congratulations, junior brother, on overcoming the red dust tribulation. Lu Ji and Nye Yuan, who had been waiting for years, came forward to greet him. It took a while. Chun Sanxi took a full 5 years. If he had realized earlier that he didn't need to undergo the red dust tribulation, he should already be in the 10,000 demon country, preparing to break through to Fatian Shangdi. Lu Ji said solemnly, "Junior brother can rest assured to undergo the tribulation here. I and Lao San will serve as your protectors. Then I must trouble you, senior brothers." Chun Sanxi, without much formality, entered the cave mansion and directly began his seclusion. The first thing he needed to do was to use 3 types of spiritual objects to refine the nascent soul pill. With a wave of his hand, the spiritual objects all appeared before him. Then he performed seals and began manually refining the elixir pills. Under the fusion of chaos true fire, the 3 different spiritual objects gradually merged into a deep blue orb of light. However, the orb was unstable, flickering like a candle in the wind. In Chun Sanxi's eyes, The orb before him was a chaotic transformation of the Great Tao, containing the heaven and earth laws. His task was to continue casting to refine the spiritual objects while controlling the Tao transformation with his divine sense until he thoroughly mastered the transformation pattern. Buzz! With a hum, the flames were completely extinguished, and a verdant elixir pill floated clearly before him. Skill: Alchemy, 4th rank. Progress: 320/2000. Pill formed. Next was the formation. Over the 5 years in the red dust, Chun Sansi had long prepared the equivalent materials, and the formation core was more than 80% complete. Within 2 months, he finished the remaining parts. 4th rank Great Formation, Xuanji Star Formation Array. Skill: Formation, 4th rank. Progress: 512/2000. With everything ready, Chun Sansi sat cross-legged in the cave mansion for 7 days, until both body and spirit reached their optimum state. He began circulating his cultivation technique to officially start the breakthrough. His dantian, at this moment, was like a storm vortex in the ocean, greedily absorbing the spiritual energy in the cave mansion. The natural cycle star map on the surface of the dantian became increasingly bright and dazzling. Within the dantian, one could feel a mysterious force accumulating. The so-called golden core is actually just the shell for nurturing the nascent soul. It is said that in the ancient times with abundant spiritual energy, one could only truly be called a cultivator by shattering the core to form a soul. Only golden core is easy to form, nascent soul is difficult to achieve. Even in the spiritual energy-deficient sky-water continent, there are hundreds of golden core cultivators, but only a few dozen nascent soul cultivators. This illustrates the difficulty of condensing a nascent soul. Though Chun Sansi outwardly had sufficient qualification, he dared not be negligent, and while refining his dantian with spiritual power, he also focused on comprehending the heaven and earth laws. The Taoist ancestor once said that the birth and death of all things originate from the inherent unity, and condensing a nascent soul is essentially the process of reversing acquired essence qi to innate energy. The nascent soul symbolizes a state untainted by acquired desires, representing the psychosocial state of a cultivator who has washed away all distractions and returned to a pure, original state. Therefore, one must endure the trials of the red dust and cleanse oneself of earthly burdens. But in Chun Sansi's view, harboring a pure heart can also lead to the formation of a nascent soul, and this is his path. He continued to operate his cultivation technique. Unknowingly, several months passed. Chun Sansi could clearly feel that the innate qi within his dantian had reached a bottleneck and could no longer condense. The time had come, and he swallowed the elixir pills refined from spiritual objects. The moment the elixir pills entered his body, the innate qi within the golden core, like seedlings encountering dew or an infant nourished by mother's milk, began to grow wildly again until it expanded to the limit, filling the golden core. Then it quickly contracted, preparing to smoothly condense into the form of a baby. The nascent soul was formed. Next came the real challenge. Shattered core. Among those cultivators who fail their tribulation, only 20% die at the first step, while over 80% fail during the shattered core phase, resulting in a dead fetus, causing meridians to become disordered, leading to explosive death. Chun Sansi changed his hand seals, increasing the efficiency of his skill operation to the limit. Crack! On the surface of his golden core, like an egg that had been cracked, a fissure appeared, followed by a second and a third. Rumble! At this moment, outside the cave mansion, a roll of thunder sounded. Heavenly tribulation. Chun Sansi transformed into a stream of light, passing through the mountain's skylight to the open night sky above the mountains. Looking up, he saw the once clear starry sky gradually covered by a thick black fog, completely obscuring the bright moon. The surging black clouds, under an earth-shaking hum, gradually condensed into a mass of purple light, whose brilliance grew larger and larger, illuminating the entire world like a purple sun. Boom! Finally, the first bolt of lightning fell. On the surface of Chun Sansi's body, chaos true fire suddenly enveloped him, transforming his flesh into a glazed golden body. Holding the long-dan bright silver spear, he charged up to meet the thunder head-on. With his powerful physique, he forcibly shattered the lightning. In this process, a trace of the power of laws also entered his body, striking the golden core and creating another fissure on its surface. Immediately after, came the second bolt of heavenly thunder. Its strength had increased considerably, but Chun Sansi still endured it. This is the advantage of immortal and martial dual cultivation. During the tribulation, one can rely on a powerful physique to cope more calmly. The nascent soul tribulation consists of a total of 49 bolts of heavenly thunder, each stronger than the last. When the 20th bolt of lightning fell, Chun Sansi finally began to feel strained. He no longer continued to endure by brute force but instead waved his hand, first sending 36 bronze array nails bellowing to the ground, then 36 array flags soared into the sky, and finally the array plate hovered above his head, simultaneously emitting a green light with the flags and nails. Xuanji Star Formation. The moment the formation activated, it resonated with the stars of the cycle. The once cloud-covered starry sky emanated dazzling light, re-emerging in his vision. Under the irrigation of the power of the stars, the array patterns lit up one by one, casting a giant star map phantom in front of Chun Sansi. Rumble! Another lightning bolt fell. The spiritual light of the star map barrier erupted, directly blocking it while converting it into pure power of laws, which then flowed back into Chun Sansi's body. By repeating this process, he easily withstood 36 bolts of lightning. However, the power of the heavenly thunder also rose again, with a touch of blood lurking within the purple lightning. The mere pressure released made Chun Sansi shiver to the bone. Crack! This time, a fissure appeared in the Xuanji Star Formation, and the cracks soon expanded. By the time the 46th bolt of lightning arrived, the formation was completely torn apart. Boom! In the lightning, a vague silhouette of a giant python with distinct scales appeared, with each scale pulsating with plasma, opening its mouth widely as if to devour the heavens, descending upon him. Chun Sansi's 8 Desolate's flame armor shattered instantly. He didn't even have a chance to reform his armor before the next bolt of lightning struck him. In that instant, he was nearly knocked unconscious from the excruciating pain, but fortunately, the effects of the nascent soul pill within his body helped him catch his breath. Yet there was no time to breathe, as the next heavenly thunder, even stronger than the previous one, followed closely behind. With a single strike, Chun Sansi's glazed golden body disintegrated. His flesh and blood became a bloody mess under the rolling heavenly thunder, leaving him with no strength to resist, like a bird with broken wings plummeting straight from the sky. Rumble! Just at his weakest moment, the last and strongest bolt of heavenly thunder gathered in the sky. All the thunderclouds twisted and intertwined, and the lightning they emitted almost blinded all living beings within 1,000 miles. When it finally struck, it was no longer a lightning spear or a lightning python, but hundreds or even thousands of thunder dragons converged into a waterfall of lightning that shrouded the heavens. Not good. Nie Yuan observed the scene in the sky and said nervously, "Junior brother, why does this thunder tribulation seem stronger than when you underwent yours?" "Calm down," Lu Ji said in a deep voice. "We can't meddle in the affairs of undergoing tribulation. The junior brother has always been thorough in his actions, so there shouldn't be any problems." Rumble! Accompanied by a deafening roar, all the purple thunder dragons in the sky gathered together, forming a thunder waterfall that covered the heavens and earth and poured straight onto the white robe below. Damn it! Why is the strength of this thunder tribulation different from expected? Chun Sansi had witnessed nascent soul cultivators undergoing tribulation numerous times, like when Zhang Huiqing advanced to mid-stage nascent soul. He prepared his tribulation items based on his observations and experiences. According to conventional wisdom, the Xuanji Star Alignment Array should be more than sufficient for the thunder tribulation. But the intensity of 77 strikes of thunder gradually exceeded the power that should belong to a nascent soul thunder tribulation. Roar! A massive figure faintly emerged among the clouds. "It is an unnamed divine beast, mysterious, dignified, impossible to look directly at. Chun Sansi saw this scene during his Golden Core small celestial tribulation. This divine beast is deliberately targeting him. Damn creature. Chun Sansi's first reaction was not fear but an indescribable surge of fury in his heart. His whole body was charred, flesh blurred, feeling the ever-approaching thunder pressure, trembling hands forming seals, and desperately reciting the spells, unleashing his last resort. Return, ruin! In an instant, the originally shattered Xuanji star alignment array regathered. From afar, it seemed as if Chun Sansi raised his hand, plucked a star, held it in his palm, then resolutely threw it towards the rolling thunder. Rumble! The moment the star collided with the thunder, it shattered. Though it blocked part of the tribulation's power, several thunder dragons still howled forth. Chun Sansi had no further external methods. First, he used Tai Yin Qinghua Life and Death Flame to wrap his body, taking a breath, then gathered his remaining mana, transferring it to the Longden bright silver spear, roaring with a fearless posture, stabbing violently towards the incoming thunder. Crack! The moment the two touched, all of Chun Sansi's flesh was burned to charcoal. His internal bones turned into cinders. After a bout of dizziness, nearly losing consciousness, he only felt himself sinking into an endless abyss, the body continuously falling, only the instinct remaining to absorb the residual power of laws after the thunder. Miles of cultivation made his meridian's operation a muscle memory. No need for deliberate control, simply delivering that thread of power of laws into the Dantian. Crack! The web-filled Dantian couldn't maintain anymore and burst open with a roar, leaving a translucent infant sitting cross-legged. Achievement perfect. The moment the core shattered into an infant, strands of Xiantian Qi began spreading from the nascent soul to the limbs and bones, returning nourishment. Chun Sansi's damaged body began to regenerate at a visible rate, until he opened his eyes again, as if a deity awakening. Breakthrough, nascent soul. Cultivation technique. Swallowing fire technique. Early stage nascent soul. Progress 0/500. Utility. Burning infant. Burning infant. The fire element spells cast can directly burn the opponent's nascent soul. Directly burning the nascent soul. It should be noted, after breaking through the fourth realm, the physical body is no longer essential. The nascent soul is the true essence. If the body is destroyed, one can still seize or rebuild a body, but if the nascent soul is destroyed, it's equivalent to complete annihilation of the divine soul. And Chun Sansi's swallowing fire technique enables threatening the nascent soul directly across the opponent's body during combat. This alone makes it difficult for cultivators of the same realm to be a match. Congratulations, junior brother. Lu Ji and another came to congratulate. Successful breakthrough to nascent soul. It should be me thanking the two senior brothers for the hard work of protecting. At this moment, Chun Sansi was in tattered clothes, yet he felt extremely refreshed rather than exhausted. After achieving nascent soul, he is considered truly prominent in Skywater Continent. Of course, it is far from enough. As Lord Taishan said, in the cultivation world, only the three heavens sect with divinity transformation can look down on others and act based on their whims. Only after achieving divinity transformation can one truly disregard others' faces and act as they wish. After all, only by achieving divinity transformation will the major sects dare not covet the Eastern continent lightly, and Chun Sansi can be considered a protector. Junior brother, Nye Yuan asked curiously, why was your nascent soul thunder tribulation much stronger than usual cultivators? I don't know either. Chun Sansi shook his head. He naturally wouldn't forget the danger just experienced. If it weren't for his immortal and martial dual cultivation, it would have been nearly impossible to withstand the final heavenly thunder. The thunder tribulation is a celestial punishment. Is it possible that the heavenly Tao is targeting him? Once there's time, he needs to thoroughly investigate if such incidents happened before, and be even more cautious when undergoing the divinity transformation tribulation in the future. Junior brother. Lu Ji said in a deep voice. Now that you've crossed the tribulation, should we head north to Sky Water or south to 10,000 Demon Country? I might need to trouble the two senior brothers once again to accompany me south. According to Chun Sansi's original plan, after breaking through Nascent Soul, he was to meet Jiang Xie and together head to Qingqiu in 10,000 Demon Country. Hold on. Just as he was planning the route, the other end connected to his divine sense suddenly reacted. Sky Water Continent, Central Army Tent. Chun Sansi's lifebound puppet had also broken through on its own, becoming a golden core puppet, still entirely under the control of the main body, but now possessing its own independent consciousness. On this day, as usual, he was cultivating in his cave mansion when people started requesting to see him one after another. Come in, Brother Chun. A young Taoist from the Qingshu sect, Shirliax, stepped into the tent. Elder Su sent me to ask, how is the formation repair going? Elder Su? Who is that? The puppet Tian Wu, without the memories of the main body, couldn't help but express confusion. At this moment, Chun Sansi's divine sense connected with the puppet, taking over the body's control. He spoke, the 5th rank array, the cultivation difficulty is quite high, and there has been no progress yet. What's the matter? Is Elder Su pressing the issue? It's somewhat like that. Shirliax said. Elder Su Taisu said that he hopes you will return to Wuzhangawin as soon as possible to repair the formation. Otherwise, something major may happen. Something major? Chun Sansi asked. What major event? The young Taoist replied. I don't know either, but Elder Su said so it should be something very serious. I understand. Chun Sansi disconnected his divine sense from the puppet body. He looked at Lu Ji. Brothers, the plan has changed. It seems we will need to reunite a bit earlier than expected. The two had no objections. Chun Sansi set up a formation to seal the cave mansion and then traveled to the Dachi territory, preparing to bid farewell to the continent. It had been 2 years since he passed the Red Dust Tribulation. Now, it was the year 46 of Tianwu. The wars on this continent had already ended. Dachi no longer existed, replaced by the Great Tang Dynasty established by the Zhang brothers, with the era named Jinbao, and the emperor being the second brother, Zhang En. As for the eldest Zhang Ping, over a year ago, after the wars ended, he was attacked by a band of brigands hiding experts and was violently killed on his way back to the capital city with his troops. The long-missing third brother, Zhang Shi, who had also joined the rebellion, died after his training went awry and he fell into madness. Only the second brother, Zhang En, remained among the Zhang brothers, naturally becoming the sole candidate to ascend the throne as emperor. The level of intrigue involved is self-evident. Who? Inside the diligent governance hall, as Emperor Jinbao Zhang was reviewing memos, he sensed something unusual and raised his head to see a figure standing just 2 steps away from him. Immortal Master? Recognizing the visitor, he immediately relaxed, quickly stood up and saluted. Zhang En greets Immortal Master Sure. It had been many years. Zhang En was no longer the former swindling charlatan but a king exuding the majestic aura of a dragon, speaking in an unusually composed manner. Chun Sansi asked casually, how does it feel to sit on the dragon chair? Zhang En did not answer. Instead he said, if it weren't for the Immortal Master's help back then, my Zhang family's world wouldn't exist. If the Immortal Master requires anything, feel free to command, and I will commit the entire country's efforts to meet your request. It's okay. You don't have to be so nervous. I'm not here to ask for anything, just intending to leave and came to say goodbye. Chun Sansi's eyes caught a book in the corner shelf about hunting immortals. This person had probably started guarding against me long ago. The human heart is capricious. Despite this, Chun Sansi wasn't angry. In fact, the reason his Great Han remained stable after its founding wasn't because all servants were loyal, but because his overwhelming power gave no one a chance to harbor ulterior motives. If Eastern Continent hadn't seen the rise of cultivators, and martial saints were still the pinnacle of the world, with no one achieving immortality, then possibly nobody could govern solely with benevolence. Being firmly seated on the throne inevitably requires some necessary means. So Zhang En's actions, instead, indicated that he was a qualified good emperor for now. Leaving? You've been in the Great Tang all these years. Zhang En captured the key information. Chun Sansi didn't answer, preparing to leave. Immortal Master! Zhang En suddenly kneeled. Immortal Master, I wholeheartedly aspire to govern the world well, but the former dynasty's decay is overwhelming. Many matters are beyond my capability. Perhaps if I could learn immortal laws, it would be easier. Your qualifications are very poor. Even with the best resources, you won't succeed in foundation establishment in this lifetime. Chun Sansi straightforwardly said, put aside your dream of immortality and do well in the present tasks. After speaking, he no longer lingered, transforming into a stream of light soaring into the night sky, disappearing into the darkness. Zhang En watched the departing figure, lost in thought. A dynasty named Great Tang officially entered the historical stream. In future records, it would detail Emperor Taizu Zhang En's youthful diligence and pursuit of immortality in his later years, leading to his death caused by elixir poisoning. This was Chun Sansi's complete tempering in the red dust. The Buddhist saintess, Master Miao Tan, observing the gradually prosperous era of Great Tang, also sensed a vague realization in her heart. Chen Lei wasn't wrong. Without the previous chaos, there wouldn't be the current peace. Without Zhang En's ruthless decisiveness, there wouldn't be the steady development of the Great Tang court. These might be the compassion behind the killings. Some killings are purely for the sake of killing, while some killings are to prevent further killings. But the great compassion on Chun Lei seemed to extend further than this. It seems we must find an opportunity to discuss the Mahayana Buddhist teachings with Master Tian Wu. Sky Water Continent, Wuzhangyuan. After months of long-distance travel, Chun Sansi and his companions finally reached their destination. House slave of 3 surnames? Wang Ji and the others, upon seeing Lu Ji after decades, all bore expressions of disbelief. Being called such, Lu Ji instead burst into laughter. Lao Lu, after so many years, that mouth of yours still can't produce ivory. Ha 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 ha. Wang Ji's laughter suddenly froze, noticing the other's cultivation far exceeding his own. What's going on here? Upon learning that Lu Ji was now a 4th realm cultivator, each one was once again astonished. You people, Lu Ji, with a tone of reproach, said, have you become too lazy over the years? How can you not even reach the golden body realm after decades? Can you face the spirit of the master in heaven? Don't you lecture us. Wang Ji grumbled. Someone who doesn't know might think you're a martial arts 4th realm, but you took some devious path and dare to flaunt before us? The brothers scoffed at each other, exchanged pleasantries, and gathered for a night of revelry. Chun Sansi, however, had no such inclination. After a few drinks, he returned to the central army tent to organize the various messages received recently. First, the Wuzhangyuan area. Since Mu Qingming's arrival, the Great Wall saw no severe losses. Instead, Guangrendao internally faced a recurrence of previous Si Shui Dao scenarios, with many mortals mysteriously dying. Upon several investigations, traces of Si Hang from the evil god path were discovered. This is to say, this evil god Dao cultivator, unknown when and quietly, infiltrated Guangren Dao territory. Worried about being led away on a wild goose chase, Mu Qingming didn't dare leave the Great Wall to search personally, entrusting other nascent souls, but clues remained elusive. This task naturally fell to Chun Sansi subsequently. Speaking of the evil god path, the western continent must be mentioned. Years ago, Buddha launched an attack on the evil god countries, initially gaining significant advantages, but soon reached a stalemate and finally retreated. Afterward, the evil god path began significantly increasing its involvement in the righteous and demonic battles. Chun Sansi's analysis: the true purpose of Buddha wasn't to conquer thundering cold continent, but to showcase their strength, then use the evil god path to pressure heavenly water, thereby achieving their goal of having the holy sect consent to Buddha entering the sky water continent, spreading Buddhist law, and establishing temples to gather incense. However, this point is something that the various sects in heavenly water absolutely cannot tolerate. Who knows how this great battle will finally conclude? Although Chen Sansi has now stepped into the nascent soul stage, he ultimately cannot participate in the higher-level strategies. What he can do is to guard Guangren Dao well and do his duty. In addition, he must find a way to quickly repair the mixed Yuan Great Formation. Although it's unclear why Su Taisu said the matter is of great importance, considering the current situation, he likely wasn't speaking without basis. The fifth-rank Great Formation is not something that can be easily repaired. Chen Sansi tried several times, but each time he barely started before exhausting his divine sense and failing to maintain it. Therefore, if he wants to repair the fifth-rank Great Formation, his divine sense at least needs to be elevated to the late-stage nascent soul. The best way to enhance divine sense is through two methods: using heavenly materials and earthly treasures or elixir pills, or cultivating techniques specifically designed to enhance divine sense. Using both methods in tandem might result in a significant improvement in divine sense in a short time. Chen Sansi already possesses the cultivation technique, Heavenly Destiny of 10,000 Soldiers. But as for the elixir pills, he indeed has no materials that can enhance divine sense. Skill: Heavenly Destiny of 10,000 Soldiers, 3rd layer. Progress: 423/2000. Skill: Formation, 4th rank. Progress: 625/2000. After half a month of closed-door training, the improvement of his divine sense was very limited. Chen Sansi paused temporarily, planning to proceed with his original plan to hunt down the evil god sect cultivators hiding in Guangren Dao. "Brother Chen, I entrust this to you," Mu Qingming said gravely. "That monk has always been hiding in the shadows, like a sword hanging behind us. I hope Brother Chen can find his whereabouts as soon as possible." "Rest assured, Brother Mu, I will do my best." Chen Sansi paused for a moment and added, "But Brother Mu, haven't you considered how monk Xi Heng managed to slip past the city protection array and infiltrate our rear?" "You mean?" Mu Qingming asked. "There's a traitor among us?" Chen Sansi nodded silently. "Impossible." Mu Qingming shook his head and said, "Those guarding the city are all elders from the 12 upper sects, without exception, all individuals of reputable sects. I'm not saying this because I place much trust in their virtue, but because their status represents the entire sect, not just themselves. If any one of them had a problem, the entire sect behind them would be implicated. The 12 upper sects have stood in heavenly water for thousands of years, deeply rooted. It's impossible for them to betray the righteous path and turn to the demon sect. For them, it holds no benefit. As for Xi Heng's infiltration, it is most likely that he took a detour from other places to enter heavenly water. After all, although the demon Great Wall is sturdy, it is not without flaws. There will always be some loophole." "Then," Chen Sansi asked, "could it be that some sect actually plans to rebel with their entire sect?" "That's even more impossible," Mu Qingming asserted confidently. "The core of each sect is within heavenly water. If they rebel, they would be instantly destroyed." "All right then." Chen Sansi refrained from saying more, only advising, "One cannot be too careful, Brother Mu, be cautious." After this last admonition, he swept his sleeves, soared into the sky, and vanished amidst the boundless clouds. A traitor. Although Mu Qingming didn't believe that there were demon path infiltrators among the elders, he was cautious enough to still send trusted individuals to investigate secretly. Within 5 days, an outer elder from the holy sect came to report. "Junior Brother Mu," the Golden Core elder transmitted, "our people discovered that Taoist Shangguan from the Phantom Sea Pavilion seems to have been in correspondence with the demon sect recently." "Oh? Is there really such a thing?" Mu Qingming quickly asked. "Did you see the contents of the letters?" "No," the outer elder replied. "Taoist Shangguan burns the letters after reading them each time, and we haven't had a chance to get close." He hesitated, then voiced his concern. "Junior Brother Mu, could it be that monk Xi Heng was actually let in by Shangguan Yunji?" What is her motive? Is it a personal act? Or is it instigated by the Phantom Sea Pavilion? What should we do next, knowing that Taoist Shangguan holds the token for the City Protection Array? Here's what we'll do. After a brief contemplation, Mu Qingming instructed, "Please have senior brother retrieve all 3 tokens, saying I plan to keep them personally, then keep an eye on Shangguan's every move." Understood. The outer elder accepted the order and left. Guangren Dao. Chun Sansi wandered among the mortals for several days without finding any trace of monk Ci Hang. He thought it over and invited his senior brother. After all, they all belonged to the divine Tao, so they should be more sensitive to each other's presence. Lu Ji suggested, "Let's go and check out the village ahead." "All right." Chun Sansi nodded. The two transformed into streaks of light, landing one after another in the corner of the village. Bang! Lu Ji directly kicked open the door of a house and rushed into the inner room, searching around before finally finding a dilapidated incense burner and a clay statue shrine. There was also a plaque with 8 large characters, Maitreya True Buddha Master Ci Hang. "Who are you people?" A man charged over with a kitchen knife. Lu Ji only squinted slightly, then condensed an enormous hand in the air, grabbing the man's neck and lifting him into the air, coldly asking, "Where did this shrine and plaque come from?" "Spare me, immortal master. I'll tell. Seeing the opponent's cultivation, the man dared not resist, immediately recounting the events in detail. Several years ago, Ci Hang started sending people to distribute large sums of money and food to the commoners in some areas, with the only requirement being that they offer incense. To the common people, it seemed like a blessing falling from the heavens. Naturally, no one would refuse. Thus, more and more people began to secretly offer tributes to the evil god. This was also a common tactic used by the evil god Tao cultivators, crudely and directly bestowing benefits on the populace, tempting them to become believers. But little did they know, the benefits that the evil god path bestowed upon them were often snatched from the hands of people elsewhere. "Junior brother." Lu Ji crushed the Ci Hang shrine into powder and said in a deep voice, "Did you see? These ignorant mortals are willing to do anything as long as there's a benefit. They are really not worth you and Master to protect so desperately." It was precisely because he understood the baseness of human nature that he never agreed with his master's ideals. "Senior brother, I must disagree," Chon Sansi calmly said. "This kind of thing has nothing to do with whether they are mortals. Among the cultivators, aren't there also plenty who slaughter their fellow Taoists just to extend their lifespan by a few years? By that logic, shouldn't the cultivators deserve to die as well?" Lu Ji didn't comment further. "Let's not talk about this." Chun Sansi shifted the topic to the main issue. "Does senior brother have any way to locate monk Ci Hang based on these shrines and plaques?" Lu Ji said, "Sensing through incense won't work, but I can try sensing through killing intent." "Almost forgot. Senior brother is a rightfully named god of killing." Chon Sansi said, "Then please, senior brother, find the place within 1,000 miles where the most people have died recently. Leave it to me." Lu Ji held the plaque in one hand, formed a seal with the other, slowly closed his eyes, and his entire body emanated a chilling incense fire divine power. Merely a brief contact with this household's mortal nearly scared them to death on the spot. Fortunately, Chun Sansi protected them in time, preserving their lives. "Follow me." After roughly the time of a tea break, Lu Ji reopened his eyes, rose into the sky, and led the way forward. Traveling 560 miles east, they descended into a hilly area and found a brand new temple deep within the mountains and forests. Even before approaching, Chun Sansi felt a strong scent of blood engulfing him. Both wielding bright silver spear and heavenly halberd, they cast spells to stealthily enter the temple but found no trace of living souls. In the main hall, however, there was an altar engraved with dense Sanskrit alongside an extinguished brazier. The rich scent of blood emanated from there. This place, Chun Sansi, well versed in ancient and modern texts, was naturally knowledgeable about Buddhism and judged from the Sanskrit on the altar's edges that its function was to refine special array flags and plates with human blood and flesh. Ci Hang is forming an array. He speculated the opponent's intent. Senior brother, can you discern what type of formation they are crafting? Lu Ji shook his head. I must admit, I know next to nothing about the 100 skills of immortal cultivation. Chun Sansi felt a growing sense of unease in his heart. Monk Ci Hang's array formation likely had been ongoing for years, indicating some grand scheme, yet some aspects remained unclear to him. The more powerful the formation, the more immense spiritual power it consumes. If Ci Hang aims to use the formation to influence all of Guangren Dao, it would be necessary to connect with an underground spirit vein. The control of Guangren Dao's spirit vein all resides under the great formation of the Wandering Demon Great Wall, making it impossible for anyone to seize the spirit vein, as long as the wall remains intact. Token. Chun Sansi realized the crucial issue. Monk Ci Hang's actions proved he was confident in acquiring the token to control the Great Wall from their hands. His suspicion was correct. There was indeed a traitor among the Tian Shui people. Failing to root out the traitor promptly could lead to disastrous consequences. Someone's coming back. Lu Ji suddenly spoke up. Chun Sansi also noticed the presence of 2 auras arriving at the temple gates. If they left now, they would surely be detected. Thus, Chun Sansi took out a talisman, activating the heaven-distorting illusion formation stored within. Their figures disappeared from sight, seemingly turning into the temple's beams, or perhaps the tiles and glazed bricks above, becoming one with the structure, silent and unnoticeable. The moment the array was set up, 2 familiar figures entered the temple. Heavenly Sword Sect, Rong Rojuan. Loose Cultivator, Master Dong Wei. Them? Chun Sansi pondered inwardly. Are these 2 colluding with Ci Hang? If these 2 were secretly aligned with the demon sect, that would be one thing, but if they were following sect orders, one must remember, backing Rong Rojuan was the Heavenly Sword Sect, one of the 3 Heavens sect. Even though she turned into a fugitive after the horsekeeping servant incident blew up, it didn't mean she had fully severed ties with her sect. If even the 3 Heavens sect cooperated with the demon sect, the consequences for Skywater Continent would be unimaginable. Yet Chun Sansi remained puzzled. The Heavenly Sword Sect had ample resources and manpower with tens of thousands of inner sect disciples, numerous nascent soul cultivators, and more than 1 divinity transformation patriarch, essentially standing at the peak of the cultivation world. Under such circumstances, why would they collaborate with the demon path? Suppressing his thoughts, Chun Sansi continued to observe the 2 silently. Master Dong Wei, approaching the altar, took out a wooden box, opened it, and released a multitude of black goo insects. Forming a seal with his hands, he muttered incantations. The goo insects randomly emitted a bright green light, and the hundreds of insects appeared like a star river flowing into the altar, embedding themselves into its crevices and disappearing entirely. Chun Sansi had never seen such goo insects and couldn't discern their purpose. 2 early-stage nascent souls. Lu Ji communicated through transmitted thoughts. Should we take action? As soon as he finished speaking, an ear-piercing sound rang in everyone's ears. Amitabha Buddha, isn't it a bit rude for you 2 donors to come uninvited? Since you're here, why not stay? Buzz. The glazed tiles on the temple roof glowed with a sinister purple light, forming a boundary that covered them like a bowl. Soon after, a large figure abruptly appeared, with Buddha light flourishing in his palm, ready to strike. Master Ci Hang, it's us, Master Dong Wei shouted loudly. Oh! The plump monk stopped abruptly, scanned the 2 of them with his gaze, then cheerfully said, Ah! It's the 2 of you. What brings you here so suddenly? We've come to seek you, Master. Master Dong Wei said, Master, do you know that Chun Lei has returned and has already advanced to nascent soul? Amitabha. Ci Hang fidgeted with the Buddha beads in his hands. Although my qualifications are mediocre, I am, after all, a mid-stage Ming King. Even if that donor has achieved nascent soul, I am confident I can suppress him. There's information the master may not be aware of. Master Dongwei reminded. That fellow Chenlei is also an array master. One of the ancient demon clan's elders was previously slain by him across the border using array magic. Now entering nascent soul, presumably his array skills have also improved, potentially uncovering our actions, so. Hence, we request the master to complete the great formation quickly. Rong Rojuan interjected. To avoid dragging things out. Hee. Si Hang continued smiling. Rest assured. The great formation just needs the final array eye to be completed. By then, even if Chenlei had heavenly abilities, he would be utterly unable to breach it. Here, his expression suddenly darkened, his face full of folds betraying waves of killing intent. Since Mr. Chan is here too, why not come out and say hello? Who? Master Dongwei tensed up, following his gaze to the beam. Is someone named Chen here? Not good. The formation set by Chun Sansi was affected by the runes on the glazed tiles of the temple, causing fluctuations, and the anomaly was discovered by them. With the situation as it is, he had nothing left to say, and immediately took out the 100 deer-chasing moon bow, aimed at the ground, and drew the bow to shoot arrows. Bang, bang, bang. One arrow after another, like meteors falling, enveloped towards several people. Master Dongwei summoned his life-bound spiritual treasure, the Taiji fan, with a brilliant golden light on the fan's surface, forcefully waving it forward, intending to deflect all the arrows back. However, just as his Taiji fan touched the arrows, he felt as if he had collided with Buzhou Mountain, unable to deflect them at all. Instead, the meridians in his arms casting the skill throbbed in pain. Gritting his teeth to endure, he barely managed to block them, stumbling backward continuously. This person's mana has already far surpassed mine. Master Dongwei was utterly astonished in his heart. Just a few years ago, he had an absolute overwhelming force, chasing this brat into panic, but now the situation had completely reversed. Even if Chenlei broke through to nascent soul, the gap between them shouldn't be this vast. Rumble. Without any chance to catch his breath, still in shock, Dongwei faced the next round of arrow rain. He had to raise the fan, using it as a shield to block in front of him. Rong Rojuan didn't sit idly by, taking the opportunity to activate his spiritual treasure and applied the instantaneous technique. Within a blink, he reached the roof beam, with power of the stars gathered in his hand's void-shifting ruler, intending to smash towards the white robe's heavenly spirit. But just at this moment, an overwhelming murderous intent surged up. A heavenly halberd suddenly appeared from the void, directly crashing towards her face. Rong Rojuan then realized someone else was hidden, immediately redirecting the moving ruler's direction, blocking the sharp halberd blade. Evil God Dao Cultivator? Shui Tu. Master Si Hang recognized the person. Why are you here? We are both incense fire divine Dao cultivators. Why are you helping heavenly water? Does this venerable need to explain to you? Bald donkey? Why I'm doing things? Lu Ji didn't waste words, just swung the heavenly halberd. Rong Rojuan fought against him. Well, a murder god indeed. Let's see if the murder god can withstand my means, if he will kneel and beg for mercy. Master Si Hang said as he was about to take action. Suddenly seeing a fire dragon flying towards him, he grimly smiled. You should die too. Saying that, he lifted his palm, directly repelling the white robe. Chun Sansi landed heavily, his legs plowing out 2 trenches in the ground. As one progresses in realms, the differences become greater. The mid-stage and early stage of nascent soul are entirely different concepts. The gap between them, for ordinary cultivators, is an insurmountable chasm. For Chun Sansi, however, he would not suffer too much, perhaps even able to retreat with composure. But with Rong Rojuan and Dongwei as 2 assistants today, things become much more difficult. The best plan now is to leave first, return and discuss with Mu Qingming and others about how to handle the formation issue. Senior brother, let's go back first. Chun Sansi transmitted, preparing to fight while retreating. To you 2 benefactors, I'm afraid today you won't be able to leave. Master Si Hang formed a hand seal, then raised his hand to the sky, casting a ball of incense fire divine power, which exploded within the clouds, causing tremors within thousands of miles. This is sending a signal to call for help, Chan Sansi realized. Probably there are more evil god Dao cultivators hidden within Guangren Dao, not just Ci Hang himself. He unleashed his golden body, with the long spear tearing through the void with overwhelming flames, crashing against the temple's roof beam. Crack! The glazed tiles emitting Buddha light along with the boundary shattered completely, allowing Chan Sansi and his senior brother to escape the temple. But as they fled not far, indeed another evil god Dao cultivator from the fourth realm appeared ahead to block their path. This person's eyes were like snake-like vertical pupils, with 4 arms holding 4 treasure swords, each sword's blade carrying a bizarre eye. Evil god Dao cultivator, Duomu Dao Jun. Years ago, when Chan Sansi was collecting cultivation resources heading to evil god Dao, he encountered this person. Unexpectedly after Buddha withdrew their army, he too arrived at Guangren Dao. Daoist friend, stay. Duomu Dao Jun danced the treasure sword with a strange expression, the pupils on the sword blades radiating beams of dazzling golden light. As the golden light enveloped, Chan Sansi felt a wave of dizziness upon his eyes. When he reopened them, he found himself lying on a bed. He looked around, finding the environment extremely familiar, located within the boundless hall of the Imperial Palace in Chang'an of Great Han. Hiss! How did I come back? Where was I before? What was I doing? No! Chan Sansi felt something strange in his heart, immediately performed Qi observation skill, discovering that the surroundings were condensed by some strange power, not real. He was in an illusion realm. Crack! Upon figuring this out, everything around began to shatter like glass. Chan Sansi regained his memory, returning to the battlefield. A brief moment in the illusion realm was enough for the enemy to close in. Duomu Daojuan's 4 treasure swords almost simultaneously thrust towards his heart. 8 Desolate's flame armor. Chan Sansi couldn't dodge in time, only able to summon chaos true fire to wrap around his body. Boom! Sword Qi erupted. The armor was torn apart and reformed time and again, forcefully resisting all the sword Qi. Chan Sansi flew backwards several hundred feet before stabilizing, thankfully unharmed. He looked towards the bizarre-looking evil god Dao cultivator ahead, feeling somewhat apprehensive in his heart. Fortunately, his divine sense far surpassed that of cultivators in the same realm, enough to rival middle-stage cultivators, and he also possessed the divine skill, Qi observation skill. If he had delayed leaving the illusion realm by even one more breath just now, he might have perished. The methods of these evil god Dao cultivators are truly unpredictable. Oh! Duomu Daojun laughed strangely. Good boy. My Rakshasa illusion C couldn't trap you. Truly extraordinary. On the other side, Lu Ji was also struck heavily and staggered back. Chan Sansi stood back to back with him, floating amidst a surrounding of 4 people. Senior brother. Chan Sansi transmitted a message. I'll stay to hold them off while you find a chance to escape and inform Mu Qingming and the others. Ridiculous. Lu Ji said solemnly. Where has there ever been a reason for a senior brother to let a junior brother hold the line? I should stay and you go for help. There's no time to argue. Chan Sansi said. Rest assured, senior brother. I'm not being reckless. I have confidence that I can shake them off without getting into trouble. We are both from the military. We shouldn't act rashly in such matters. All right. Lu Ji was unable to refute. Thank you, senior brother. Chan Sansi said, summoning all the puppets and charging towards Zihong and the others, simultaneously activating the self-destruction. The golden core goo worms exploded, though not powerful enough to harm nascent soul cultivators. They were certainly sufficient to cause interference. The terrifying aftermath churned the once clear sky into turbulence. Taking this opportunity, Lu Ji summoned the fire horse, crushed the void and performed several instances of instantaneous technique, appearing several thousand zhang away in the blink of an eye. Trying to escape? Duomu Daojun raised a sword to pursue. Chan Sansi unleashed the heavenly slaughter tripod, fiercely smashing it towards his head. Clang! Duomu Daojun slashed downward with several swords, directly knocking the massive copper cauldron away. Just as he was about to pursue Xue Tu, Sihong's voice was heard. Duomu Daoist, you should deal with Tianwu together with me. Let that Xue Tu be stopped by Master Dongwei and the others. Duomu Daojun hesitantly said, Xue Tu is an evil god after all. I fear the two of them alone might not be able to hold him back. If things are exposed, then we're done. No problem. Monk Sihong continued to transmit. The formation is about to be completed. Even if they know it, it would be of no avail. Perfect opportunity to notify Zhao Rui and the others to start the plan ahead of time. You two Taoists, isn't it underestimating me too much? Master Dongwei heard the sound transmission of the two. That Xue Tu, in the early stage of the fourth realm, is on par with our level. How could we possibly fail to stop him? Hee. Monk Sihong laughed. If you can hold him, that would be best. Leave Xue Tu to us. I hope the mage can take Chun Lei's head. Rong Rojuan said, using the void-shifting ruler to open a space rift, performing short-distance teleportation, and with Master Dongwei went to hunt down Lu Ji. Master Sihong and Duomu Daojun, on the other hand, flanked the white robe. For people split into two battlefields. Chan Sansi was struggling to handle one person, let alone face two middle-stage cultivators, and didn't intend to fight head-on. Using the triple blood-burning technique, he directly fled towards the distance. Unable to win in a frontal confrontation doesn't mean he can't outrun them. After breaking through to nascent soul, Chun Sansi's escape technique also far surpassed that of cultivators in the same realm. Benefactor, you should not flee anymore. Sihong stepped on the bronze lotus throne, chasing along with Duomu Daojun, quickly disappearing beyond the horizon. At the same time, Rong Rojuan and the others soon caught up with Lu Ji, each wielding their divine skill to knock him from the sky, and engaged him in a tangled fight. But Lu Ji's heavenly halberd, imbued with the power of killing God, was incredibly formidable, and after fighting for over 100 rounds, they could no longer hold him and could only watch as he left. Dongwei. Rong Rojuan watched the direction in which the opponent disappeared, asking worriedly, Did Chun Lei see our movements inside the temple just now? Who knows? Master Dongwei sighed. But things have come to this point, we can only bet on it. Rong Rojuan said, Where we are now, it would take 2 days to return to Wushengwen. I have sent a message across 10,000 miles to Zhao Rui, telling them to act ahead of time. Success or failure rests on this. Master Dongwei said, After this, I hope your sect does not forget my hard work. You can certainly rest assured. Rong Rojuan calmly said, Regarding the Heavenly Sword sect's 10,000-year legacy, my senior brother will surely remember Taoist friends' contributions. Wushengwen. Little martial uncle. Not good. A disciple from the holy sect hurriedly came to report. The demon path suddenly presses a large army beyond the city, forming an array formation 100 miles away. This sudden. Mu Qingming flicked his sleeve, took to the sky, and within a few breaths appeared atop the Great Wall. Looking into the distance, he saw the demon path gathering all their forces, while a large number of demon path cultivators were setting up a bizarre formation on the wilderness. What is the situation? Shangguan Yunji, Xiao Paxu, and Feng Qingyan arrived. Gentlemen, Mu Qingming squinted. Do any of you recognize what this formation is? All three shook their heads. Feng Qingyan, puzzled, said, With Saint He's vast knowledge, even you can't see what formation this is? Mu Qingming also found it strange and desperately searched his mind for a similar formation, but still came up empty-handed. In their vision, the formation was gradually being perfected, emitting increasingly powerful energy, hinting at signs of surpassing fourth rank. That's puzzling, Shangguan Yunji said perplexedly. Any formation that can pose a threat to the city protection array invariably requires a spirit vein for power. But the slaughter vein on the wilderness was already destroyed by Tianwu Daoist friend. Where did they get so much evil qi to form an array? No way. Xiao Paxu spoke. No matter what trick they are pulling, we can't just watch like this. Saint He, give me a few men. I'll lead them to destroy this wretched formation first. Not wise, Lao Shao. Feng Qingyan advised. The opponent's military formation still has middle-stage cultivators stationed. With our strength, it would be impossible to approach the great formation. I'll go personally then. Mu Qingming suddenly said. Mr. Shao is right, we can't just watch them complete the formation. I'll lead a team to destroy it myself in an hour. Shangguan Daoist, will you accompany me? Me? Shangguan Yunji paused, looking at the densely packed army formations on the wilderness, and said somewhat timidly, my escape skill is not proficient, not flexible enough. I'm afraid I'll drag the Saint He down then. Saint He, old man is willing to go together. Xiao Paksu patted his chest and said, if I get caught then, I can self-destruct my nascent soul. Definitely not a burden. I am also willing to go. Feng Qingyan followed suit. No, I need Shangguan Daoist. Persistent. Xiao Paksu said, Mr. Xiao and Daoist Feng, remain behind in the city. Shangguan Daoist, please go prepare. Bring enough elixir pills and talismans. We are set to depart soon. Okay. Reluctantly, Shangguan Yunji, although unwilling, bit the bullet and agreed. Lightly touched his toes to leave the Great Wall, returning to the camp to prepare his belongings. Mu Qingming pondered, then took out 3 tokens from his pocket, handing them to Xiao Paksu, Feng Qingyan, and an outer elder of the holy sect respectively. Going out to breach the formation, he naturally couldn't bring the tokens. After all, if they didn't make it back, it would be like handing the Great Wall over. Everyone, in the event that Shangguan Daoist and I encounter any mishaps, I hope you hold on to the tokens and do not step out. In a maximum of 40 days, the holy sect will send a new great cultivator to garrison. Saint He exaggerates. Feng Qingyan said, you possess heavenly ability. Relying on Xian Shalingguan and the others, it is impossible to retain Saint He. You will surely return safely. Feng Qingyan added, even if I die, it will be on the city wall. Then I leave it to you all. Mu Qingming, after giving a few more instructions, took Shangguan Yunji and several trusted disciples, crossed the Great Wall, and directly headed toward the vast Demon Path army formation. Ultimately, formations are a utilization of the heaven and earth laws, allowing them to explode with power far beyond the cultivator's own strength. However, before a formation is perfected, it is extremely fragile. Once disturbed, all previous efforts will be wasted. What Mu Qingming needed to do was to charge into the thousands of troops, throw out pre-prepared talismans, destroy the formation's foundation, and then retreat. Theoretically, it shouldn't be very difficult. Furthermore, he deliberately brought Shangguan Yunji to prevent this person from being the Taoist Tian Wu mentioned, causing chaos inside the city while he was out. Saint Heir. Shangguan Yunji suddenly spoke. You must let me come along. Could it be that you suspect I have any dealings with the demon path? Mu Qingming frowned, mana accumulating in his palm, already prepared to turn against him. Never expecting, Shangguan Yunji took the initiative to say, is it because of my correspondence with the demon path? I indeed have intersections with them, but there are reasons, and I have never done anything against heavenly water. Mu Qingming said solemnly, I am willing to believe Elder Shangguan, but words alone are not proof. I hope Taoist can prove your words on the battlefield. All right. Shangguan Yunji took a deep breath and summoned his life-bound spiritual treasure. Bang! Mu Qingming suddenly accelerated, directly charging into the Demon Path's vanguard army. Shangguan Yunji and the others closely followed. In the Demon Path, Xian Shalingguan sat in the vanguard's central army. Upon seeing the rapidly approaching light of escape, he immediately summoned the blood umbrella. Buzz! Before he could act to stop them, a sharp sound of zither strings echoed in his ears. Shangguan Yunji was suspended in mid-air, plucking the strings of the ice soul zither swiftly, only leaving afterimages. The sound waves carrying powerful mana surged forward like a tsunami. Xian Shalingguan had no choice but to focus on defense. Seizing this opportunity, Mu Qingming charged into the forefront of the enemy army, bypassing several obstructions, arriving above the formation. He looked down, finding that the formation on the ground had only array flags but no array plate. Its emitted power was just for show, actually having no lethality. Damn, I've been tricked. Mu Qingming's heart sank. He hurriedly tried to retreat, only to see Zhao Rui and Chu San Yuan with two other demon path nascent soul cultivators surrounding him. Mu Daoist. Zhao Rui squinted his eyes. You think this army formation of mine is a workshop market, coming as you please and leaving as you please? On another side, Shangguan Yunji, whose realm was ultimately lower than Xian Shalingguan, exhausted her fierce attacks in the first few rounds and was no longer a match, fleeing to regroup with the Saint Heir. She also realized this was a trap and her face turned pale. Daoist Shangguan is here too. Chu San Yuan sneered, tossing a skull toward her. This skull, do you recognize it? Lan Heir. Shangguan Yunji stared at the skull. Her eyes involuntarily reddened. Lan Heir. Mu Qingming asked, your direct disciple? Daoist Shangguan has only one direct disciple. Chu San Yuan said sinisterly. We captured her disciple, wanting Daoist Shangguan to cooperate with us. But who would have thought? She was unwilling to yield, truly loyal to her sect. Yet Mu Daoist, you mistakenly accused her as a mole. How unfair. Daoist Shangguan. Mu Qingming frowned. Your previous correspondence with the demon path, was it for this? Shangguan Yunji stored the disciple's remains into the storage bag, calming her emotions, and informed. I have communicated with the demon sect numerous times, trying to exchange some heavenly materials and earthly treasures for my disciple, but was unsuccessful in the negotiations. I wrongly accused you. Mu Qingming took a deep breath. I'm truly sorry. Why say that, Saint Heir? You were just doing your duty. Shangguan Yunji's pupils were filled with bloodshot veins, emitting a murderous aura. She slit her wrist, letting fresh blood fall onto the ice soul zither, causing its strings to stain with blood. I will never coexist with the demon path. Today I pledge to live and die with the Saint Heir, advance together. Mu Qingming's expression grew heavier. The opponent's strategic purpose was clear. It aimed to lure him away, which was a ploy of luring the tiger away from its mountain. What are they planning to do inside the city? If Shangguan Yunji has not betrayed, then who will be the mole inside? While pondering, Emperor Tianqi's voice echoed through the heavens. Army, attack the city! With one command, the vast demon path army bypassed Mu Qingming and Shangguan Yunji, rushing toward the rear great wall of demon suppression. Daoist Shangguan, we must return quickly. Mu Qingming took out the Thunderbolt soul-suppressing whip. D. Xian Shalingguan formed a sealing hand sign, the blood umbrella expanding rapidly in the wind, suspending above everyone's heads, blocking out the sky and covering the sun. The Great Wall. These beasts are attacking again. Xiao Paxu said solemnly. Where are Chun Lei and the evil god? They're pursuing Ci Hang's whereabouts, haven't returned yet. The outer elder from the holy sect said, currently in the city, there are only Mr. Xiao and Daoist Feng, two nascent soul cultivators. No matter. Feng Qingyan spoke. With the city protection array, the high realm cultivators in the enemy army are all held up by the Saint Heir. Us two are enough to defend the city. As he spoke, he took out a porcelain bottle, consumed an elixir pill, then tossed the bottle away. Old Xiao. This elixir can help restore mana. Today will definitely be a protracted battle. Thank you, Daoist. Xiao Paxu consumed one, then summoned the golden scale flying sword and ascended the city wall, starting to rely on the city protection array to slay the demon army sweeping in. His lifebound flying sword was taken away by Master Ci Hang last time, but fortunately, the holy sect helped them find one again, preventing their combat power from being too greatly reduced. Just as Feng Qingyan said, Zhao Rui and others were all besieging the Saint Heir, with only one ghost cultivator in the late-stage nascent soul attacking head-on, so the pressure was not great. They relied on the formation to easily repel 2 rounds of attacks consecutively. Xiao Paxu's gaze was on the distant battlefield of Mu Qingming, and he said worriedly, Taoist Mu hasn't returned yet. Could he have fallen into a trap? Yes, indeed. Feng Qingyan sighed. It seems we surely will lose this battle, and the city is also likely to be unguardable. Mr. Xiao, should we retreat to Giant Cliff City first? Nonsense. Xiao Paxu angrily said. Taoist Mu is still fighting fiercely. How can we just abandon him? You're right, absolutely right. Feng Qingyan quickly smiled apologetically, not daring to persuade further. Meanwhile, the demon army launched a new wave of attack. Xiao Paxu raised his sword again to kill the enemy. Outside the Great Wall, a ghost cultivator resembling an old scholar held a pitch-black ruler, continuously performing skills, bombarding the protective barrier of the demon-resisting Great Wall. Of course, Xiao Paxu wouldn't just watch him deplete the city protection array, so he immediately cast the Qingxian sword technique, transforming the flying sword into a sheet of light, directly slashing towards the ghost cultivator. The ghost cultivator spat a wisp of black fog, within which was a jade pendant that continuously enlarged, turning into a jade wall the height of a person, suspended in front to block the incoming golden light. Crack! The golden scale sword kept slicing the jade wall, making a piercing sound. The yin qi on the ghost cultivator's body gradually dissipated under the erosion of the golden light, and seeing he was about to give way, he shouted hideously, Aren't you going to act? What? Xiao Paxu, looking at the opponent's gaze directed behind him, felt a chill. He hurriedly withdrew his sword and turned around, only to see Feng Qingyan somehow standing behind him, wielding the Heavenly Abyss ink rhythm brush, splashing ink, and drawing a giant axe in the void, fiercely smashing towards his head. Fortunately, he reacted quickly and used the escape technique to retreat repeatedly, barely avoiding the strike. Feng Qingyan, are you crazy? Xiao Paxu glared in anger. What are you doing? Isn't it obvious what I'm doing? Feng Qingyan's expression shifted from his usual kindness, becoming extremely sinister. Chunlei and Mu Qingming have been looking for an insider, and it's not Shangguan Yunji. It's me. Why? Xiao Paxu looked bewildered. Is it just your intent or Wanxiang sex? You're considered a reputable senior in heavenly water. Why defect to the demon sect? What's in it for you? Mr. Xiao, are you really planning to watch Qingshu sect rise and seize our spirit veins and resources? Feng Qingyan solemnly said, Our two sects' spirit plants and spiritual beasts, over 80% originate from the Chenyun Mountains, where many foundation establishment and core formation spirit plants grow. It's the foundation of the sect. How could we let it go? One thing doesn't justify another. Xiao Paxu reprimanded. That's no reason to cooperate with the demon path. Isn't Wanxiang sect afraid of Kungsu's punishment? Mr. Xiao, you're confused. Feng Qingyan shook his head. Since we dare to do this, we naturally can handle the subsequent matters, so you don't need to worry. For the sake of our long-standing friendship, as long as you hand over the city defense token and join us, we absolutely won't harm you one bit. You wish, Xiao Paxu shouted sharply. I swore since childhood that my cultivation is solely for slaying demons and eradicating evil. Even if doomed eternally, I'll never affiliate with the demon sect even the slightest. Old Xiao, you're great in every way except being inflexible. If you knew how to adapt, you might have touched the threshold of becoming a late-stage nascent soul great cultivator. Enough! Feng Qingyan's hair and beard fluttered wildly, and the spiritual treasure in his hand overflowed with dense mana. Since Mr. Xiao insists on being my enemy, don't blame me for being merciless. Ha 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 ha. Xiao Paxu laughed loudly and coldly. Feng Qing. Such big talk. Where does your confidence come from to think you can definitely outperform me? Why bother with nonsense? Just kill him already. The ghost cultivator nearby lost patience, turning into a streak of black light and arriving at Xiao Paxu's side in the blink of an eye. A short knife appearing in his palm, enveloped in bone-chilling yin qi, slashing towards his neck. Golden light spell. Xiao Paxu, fearless and imposing, unleashed the sect's divine secret technique, specifically designed to suppress malevolent spirits, striking out with a fierce palm. This seemingly simple palm strike caused the ghost cultivator to howl in agony and fly backward. At this moment, Feng Qingyan approached closely, following up. He continuously waved the Mo Yun pen, creating sharp black ink sword chi one after another, weaving them into a great net in the void. However, Xiao Paksu's Qingxian sword technique was incredibly profound. The golden light swept all directions, watertight, revealing no flaw as he neutralized the opponent's attacks one by one. Mr. Zhao's golden scale sword indeed lives up to its reputation. Feng Qingyan clicked his tongue and said, "Had I not been prepared in advance, I might not have been able to handle you." Prepared in advance? Hiss. Xiao Paksu was momentarily stunned, as a sharp pain suddenly shot from his dantian, as though a yin fire was burning, soon spreading to his limbs and bones. Elixir pills, he realized, gritting his teeth. You poisoned the elixir pills you gave me? You despicable scoundrel. It's called all is fair in war and deception. Feng Qingyan, along with the ghost cultivator, attacked once more. This time, every time Xiao Paksu used the sword technique, he felt as if thousands of insects were gnawing his meridians, quickly falling into disadvantage. Human and sword as one, he roared, and in a flash, the golden scale sword extended to thousands of feet long, merging with his physical body, tearing through the void to slash at the enemy. But the more desperately Xiao Paksu cast spells, the faster the poison spread. Soon, he could no longer concentrate his spiritual energy, the golden glow on the sword edge growing dimmer, until it shattered completely. Boom! He, together with the sword, crashed heavily against the city wall, spewing a mouthful of fresh blood, his complexion pallid like a corpse. Mr. Xiao. Feng Qingyan hovered above his head. You still have one last chance to repent, hand over the token, and after it's done, no one will ever know. When the Qingshu sect is annihilated, you can consider it a good deed for your sect. You wish to dream, Xiao Paksu uttered with emphasis, veins bulging on his neck, forming a hand seal with effort. A stream of light soared from his heavenly spirit. Upon close inspection, it turned out to be a chubby baby. Nascent soul unsheathed. In Feng Qingyan's pupils, a trace of respect appeared. It seems Mr. Xiao truly intends to fight to the death. Oh, why must it be so? Boom! Xiao Paksu wasted no words, raising his long sword once more, charging toward the two of them. It's useless, Feng Qingyan said. The poison inside you is called poison infant powder. It invaded your nascent soul as soon as you started using your skills. Even if you abandon your physical body, there's no way to detoxify it. He sliced his brow with his fingertip, drawing original essence blood to use as ink, wielding his brush to paint a towering mountain in the void. This time, Xiao Paksu was utterly powerless to resist. The golden scale flying sword broke, and his small body was covered in injuries, plummeting towards the ground like a bird with broken wings. The ghost cultivator manipulated a black mist, grabbing him to its front, then pierced the nascent soul's chest with a short knife, beginning to extract the other's essence. Mr. Li, quickly inform Mu. After Xiao Paksu's final warning, his nascent soul began to wither rapidly until it turned into a dry corpse, devoid of any spiritual energy. Death. Mr. Xiao. Li Feng, the outer elder of the holy sect, rushed over only to witness this scene, and was shocked. He turned to flee. But at the Golden Core realm, how could he outrun a nascent soul cultivator? Feng Qingyan effortlessly caught up, smashing the top of his skull with the Mo Yun pen, as if it were a heavy hammer. He found a token on the bodies of both Xiao Paksu and Li Feng, and together with the one in his own hand, assembled 3 in total. Gathering all 3 tokens is equivalent to completely controlling the city protection array. This scene was naturally seen by the other cultivators defending the city as well. Real person Xiancheng raised his hand to send out a talisman, shouting harshly, Feng Qingyan, you old beast! Feng Qingyan easily knocked down the talisman, laughing out loud. Xiancheng, oh Xiancheng, no matter how sharp your tongue is, you cannot change the fact that you are a core formation waste. He formed a spell with his hands, manipulating the 3 tokens, chanting, and finally spitting out a word, close. Buzzing. The city protection array stretching for tens of thousands of miles began to close. The runes emitting golden light on the surface of the city wall extinguished one by one, and the defensive barrier shattered into pieces. The vast blood demon army had no more obstacles and charged beneath the city walls, growing and climbing up like vines, until they ascended the walls and engaged in fierce battle with the Great Han soldiers and the Tianshui cultivators. On the wilderness, Mu Qingming and Shangguan Yunji, who were fighting alongside Emperor Tianxi and others, naturally saw the situation behind them. The city has fallen. The demon sect's strategy to lure the tiger away from the mountain was to seize the tokens while they were absent. Who was the traitor? It's Feng Qingyan. Shangguan Yunji suddenly realized. Saint Air? I understand now, it must be Feng Qingyan. Back at Broken Soul Cliff, it was Feng Qingyan who conspired with Chu San Yuan to act and led us into a trap. Later, during the fight outside the city, Chun Lei infiltrated Bone-Eroding Ridge where we had the chance to kill one. But once again Feng Qingyan got injured, forcing us to let them go. Now it seems that all of it was intentional. With the fall of the Great Wall now, Mr. Xiao is probably doomed. Mu Qingming sighed deeply, feeling immense guilt. His poor judgment leading to this situation. He should have trusted Tian Wu and considered the decisions they made more carefully. Saint Air, you need not feel guilty, Shangguan Yunji said. Their correspondence with me was probably a move to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. If it succeeded, they would have me as an inside agent, and if it failed, they could still sow discord between us. As they spoke, they had already exchanged several moves with Zhao Rui and others again. Mu Qingming repeatedly summoned treasures, finally tearing open a gap within the heavy encirclement, leading Shangguan Yunji to carve a bloody path. Regrettably, it was too late. Even if they hurried back to the Great Wall, they could not change its fall. Everyone, Mu Qingming calmed down, analyzing the current situation, and finally ordered, abandon the Great Wall and retreat to Giant Cliff City. Giant Cliff City was the largest main city within Guangrendao, with spirit veins and another city protection array, serving as the last base. After the order was given, hundreds of thousands of Great Han soldiers, along with disciples from various Tianshui sects, began a hasty retreat, resulting in countless deaths until the city gates were closed and the city protection array activated, finally gaining a moment to catch their breath. The demon army flooded in, occupying Guangrendao, blocking all exits, and surrounding Giant Cliff City completely. In the sky over the wilderness, the chase between Chun Sansi and the 2 evil god Dao cultivators lasted for a full 6 hours, from dawn until nightfall, entangled in perpetual pursuit. He witnessed the phenomenon in the distance, understanding that something had likely happened to the Great Wall. You're finished. Xi Heng squeezed out a fold with his fat face. Why not surrender to the Buddha early, to avoid further suffering? On the other side, Duomu Daojun finally found an opportunity. His treasure sword ripping through the void, employing the instantaneous technique to catch up with the white robe ahead. Then all 6 flying swords radiated violet light, with the incense fire divine power flowing continuously like a river. Chun Sansi lifted the Longdan bright silver spear to block, but the spear emitted a sharp metallic wail upon contact with the flying swords. His figure retreated violently, and during the process, he summoned the heavenly slaughter tripod again, throwing it towards the pursuing cultivators. Duomu Daojun neither dodged nor evaded, as his vertical pupils emitted violet light, the 6 swords brimming with evil chi, slashing downwards to chop the heavenly slaughter tripod into several pieces. Chun Sansi threw out the sea-suppressing ring, but it was also split in half. Youngster, Duomu Daojun mockingly said, using magical treasures meant for core formation cultivators against us? Aren't you underestimating us a bit? Chun Sansi felt rather helpless. Having hastily returned to Wuzhangyuan after his nascent soul tribulation, neither the Dragon Abyss Sword nor the Dragon Egg 2 spears had been upgraded or refined. They were still mere magical treasures, incapable of contending with spiritual treasures. If not for his chaos true fire capable of burning nascent souls or shrines, he probably would not even qualify for a fight.
Hehe alto viva.
Master C.I. Hang chanted spell incantations, while the ink-black Buddha beads emitted a bizarre violet light, forming a vortex in the void. As the Buddha light enveloped him, the magical treasures in Chan Sansi's six-armed glazed golden body seemed drawn by a magnet, desperately trying to break free. He had no choice but to put all his magical treasures back into his storage bag, facing the two with bare hands. This undoubtedly placed him at an even greater disadvantage. Clang, 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 clang. Chan Sansi's glazed golden body repeatedly withstood flying swords and magical treasures, resulting in a deafening clanging sound, with sparks erupting, forming a splendid sea of fireworks in the sky. Master C.I. Hang continually cast spells, clicking his tongue. The lay practitioner's true fire is so formidable, even this monk's shrine can hardly withstand it. Unlike immortal path cultivators, evil god Tao cultivators of the fourth realm do not form a nascent soul. Instead, they mold a shrine infused with incense fire divine power within their dantian. The shrine remains unextinguished. The evil god persists. Even if the physical body is destroyed, as long as the shrine stands, it can absorb incense and reconstruct the body. At this moment, during the confrontation with Chan Sansi, two evil god Tao cultivators, feeling no pressure at first, suddenly found their shrines within their dantians engulfed by truly indestructible fire, burning continuously. This is nothing less than origin power. Once damaged, even if they survive, their path forward will be severed. This man is truly troublesome. If not for us joining forces today, we might not have handled him at all. Duomu Daojuan's face grew increasingly hideous. C.I. Hang, let's not drag this out any longer. Deal with this boy quickly. As they spoke, divine power burst from their pupils, a stream of light emerging from their dantians, rising continuously until it burst forth from their brows, hovering in midair. On closer inspection, there were two divine statues sitting within the shrine, one with a vertical pupil and the other a plump monk. The shrine has emerged. In the fourth realm of evil god Tao cultivation, one can employ this divine skill at the mid-stage. Reaching the later stage allows for the manifestation of Dharma across the heavens and earth. Senior brother Lu Ji is the evil god, incomparable, thus even at the early stage, he could manifest Dharma in the heavens and earth. This shrine emergence differs from nascent soul emergence. Once the nascent soul emerges, the physical body is like wood. However, after the shrine emerges, the body remains agile, and under the shrine's aid, becomes even more powerful, only to see wisps of dense incense fire divine power, taking tangible form, surged from the shrine, imbuing Duomu Daojun and the other. Their divine power suddenly advanced to a higher level, encircling the white robe with the shrine's aid. Already suppressed by the realm's disparity, and unable to utilize magical treasures, even with heavenly ability, Chan Sansi was inevitably outmatched. Boom! C.I. Hang's mountainous fat palms descended from the sky. The armor before Chan Sansi shattered, his body crashing like a falling star onto the earth, collapsing a mountain with a thunderous crash. Duomu Daojun and his shrine followed closely, with countless eerie vertical pupils attacking from all directions. Monk C.I. Hang didn't relent either, standing on a bronze lotus with palms clasped, chanting scriptures, as if innumerable fallen demon Buddhas gathered before him. How could Chan Sansi's single divine sense possibly withstand two? After a moment of support, his head burst into a splitting pain, vision blurring, nearly plunging back into an illusion realm. In a moment of urgency, he pulled out an orange-yellow talisman. Stabilize! The talisman shattered, transforming into a brilliant radiance. The instant the radiance touched them, C.I. Hang and his companion, along with their shrine, became petrified, unable to move an inch. Spirit Stabilizing Talisman. This talisman's control over high realm cultivators was brief, but enough for Chan Sansi to retrieve a second talisman. This time, After the talisman shattered, it formed a dark red fireball before him, like a magnificent blazing sun, burning towards the shrines, the power surpassing 4th rank middle grade, hinting at 4th rank top grade. Nurturing talisman. After his talisman skills broke through the 4th rank, Chun Sansi nurtured his talismans day and night, elevating an originally mid-grade sun talisman to 4th rank top grade. Until the sun emerged, Si Hang and his companion broke free from the immobilization talisman, panic-stricken at the sight before them. How does this rogue have a 4th rank top grade talisman? 4th rank top grade corresponds to late-stage nascent soul. One step more achieves divinity transformation level might. Such elite talisman masters in the entire cultivation world can be counted on one hand. They dared not be negligent, hastily retracting the shrine into their bodies, using their flesh to perform spells as a barrier. Buzz! The blazing sun descended, engulfing the entire sky in a sea of fire, akin to the Abi purgatory of the Buddha, or the sinful fire burning heaven. Si Hang's robes turned to ash, his plump body sizzling with oil. Duomu Daojuan's arm, entirely scorched. Having suffered a setback, their wrath burned fiercer. They swore to kill the white robe even if it meant destroying a body. Yet as the flames dissipated, Chun Sansi had vanished without a trace. Ran? Domu Daojun raged. The two of us at the mid-stage couldn't even kill a nascent soul early-stage whelp, and even got hurt. How will we face other Taoists if this spreads? Amit Buddha. Calm down, calm down. Si Hang rubbed some powder on his belly, saying, anyway, he can't escape Guangren Dao. Let him go for now. Let's first perfect the array, and sooner or later refine this person. Duomu Daojun gradually calmed. Seems like Zhao Rui and the rest have succeeded. We mustn't fall behind. Chun Sansi fled over 1,000 miles, not stopping until he was certain Si Hang and the others hadn't followed. With his current strength, perhaps with spiritual treasures, he could handle one mid-stage, but any more would be too taxing. Yet with multiple skills in hand, retreat was yet possible. Chun Sansi consumed elixir pills to heal and recover, then assessed the current situation. After the Great Wall was breached, it's likely Mu Qingming and the others would retreat to Giant Cliff City. Their immediate concern was to seek help from Kungsu. Chun Sansi dispatched a blue bird to deliver the message, but it soon returned unsuccessful. After losing the token, all of Guangren Dao became controlled by Demon Dao. The once impregnable Great Wall now served as a prison for them. Thankfully, with such a significant commotion, even without a report, Kungsu should soon be aware. There's nothing else to do but to return first. Giant Cliff City was already under siege, and Chun Sansi expended great effort to find an opportunity to enter. The atmosphere inside the city was solemn. Brother Chun, Mu Qingming chided himself. If you had defended the city while I searched for people, perhaps we wouldn't have suffered this great defeat. I didn't anticipate the traitor to be Feng Qingyan. Upon learning the sequence of events, Chun Sansi couldn't help but lament Mr. Zhao's death. This person, despite some peculiarities, was undoubtedly a righteous cultivator in the chaotic cultivation world. He suddenly pondered, wouldn't Feng Qingyan's actions implicate the whole Wanxiang sect? It will. Mu Qingming affirmed, if Wanxiang sect cannot provide a reasonable explanation, the Three Heavens sect will round up all high realm cultivators from their gates. But the current problem is we can't get our message out. The whole of Guangren Dao is entirely sealed. Not even a fly could escape. Wanxiang sect really has gone mad. Shangguan Yunji remarked, even if contact is temporarily lost, Kungsu knowing it is only a matter of time. Where did they find the courage to rebel? Or do they truly have 100% assurance that Guangren Dao's tens of millions of lives will leave no survivor? Her casual comment struck a chord in Chun Sansi's heart. Indeed, how could Wanxiang sect possibly dig their own grave unless they are truly confident? Not a single survivor. Thinking of Si Hang and others secretly arraying throughout Guangren Dao, an unsettling feeling grew stronger. Brother Chun. Mu Qingming sighed. I'll hand over the command to you next. What do you suggest we do? Given the situation, We can only send a team to attempt breaking through it and get Kungsu informed as quickly as possible. Chun Sansi suggested. As for the rest, we must hold fast and await changes. Demon Dao's army. In the central army tent, the high-ranking members of Demon Dao gathered, discussing the next plan. The formation is complete, Duomu Dao Jun said solemnly. Daoist Tianxi, if you can lure them over, we can assure they will have no chance of escape. Many thanks, fellow Daoists. Daoist Tianxi stood with hands behind his back. I've already informed my martial uncle. Once he arrives, everything will be ready. Giant Cliff City. The siege has lasted over 30 days. Chun Sansi made several attempts, sending people to break through and deliver messages, but all failed. Therefore, after another round of planning, he left Lu Ji and Shangguan Yunji to defend the city while he attempted to break through with Mu Qingming. As soon as they reached the edge, the thunderstorm formation overhead detected and locked onto them. Rolling thunder poured down upon them. Chun Sansi crossed his arms in front of his chest to block. The thunder shattered the 8 Desolates' flame armor, blasting him away. This 9 heavens demon-thrashing thundercloud formation is truly powerful. This formation was laid down by a great power who ascended long ago, and later maintained by one of the supreme elders of Purple Sun Palace, so naturally it's extraordinary. Mu Qingming spoke gravely. However, since childhood, I have practiced the thunder skill, making me partially immune to the strikes of the great formation. I will forge ahead to clear the way, and we'll see if we can forcefully break through. All right. Chun Sansi raised his hand, revealing a heavenly halberd in his palm. His magical treasure had not been upgraded and was barely usable, so he borrowed his senior brother's spiritual treasure for this mission. Heavenly Gang True Chi piercing Thunder Court. Yin Yang stripping and capturing true form. Mu Qingming chanted the incantation, causing waves of thunder skill to surge from his body, enveloping him completely and transforming him into a bolt of lightning, shooting towards the great formation. Crack, crack, crack. Bolts of lightning fell one after another. Mu Qingming devoured a considerable portion of them, soon breaking into the depths of the formation, offering the hope of breaking through. But causing such a commotion naturally attracted attention. 2 streaks of light rushed forward, one after the other. Looking closely, they turned out to be Xian Shalingguan and Feng Qingyan. Saint Air. Daoist Tianwu? Where are you hurrying off to? Feng Qingyan extracted a brush from the clouds, and without saying a word, began painting in midair, conjuring a Kuanping that roared towards the two. Chun Sansi needed to buy time for Mu Qingming and charged towards the beast fearlessly with the heavenly halberd, smashing it and dispersing the Kuanping with a single strike. Meanwhile, Xian Shalingguan had already deployed the Sinful Sea Heavenly Prison Umbrella. The umbrella opened wide, like a vortex, drawing all living creatures within 1,000 miles into its grasp. Chun Sansi felt as if invisible ropes were entwining around him, trying to pull him into the umbrella. After breaking through to nascent soul, his mana surged, naturally no longer leaving him as defenseless as before. Though still affected, he would not be directly sucked into the umbrella. He withstood the suppression of the Sinful Sea Heavenly Prison Umbrella, fending off Feng Qingyan's renewed assault, and surprisingly showed no signs of defeat despite being outnumbered 2-1. Not good, Xian Shalingguan exclaimed. Mu Qingming is about to escape. He turned to see the Saint Air just a step away from the edge of the formation, needing only to cross the final barrier to break free. Stay where you are. Seeing this, Feng Qingyan attempted to stop him, but as soon as he became distracted, the heavenly halberd smashed down in front of him. He hurriedly summoned a shield in front of him, narrowly deflecting the lethal strike. Among the two of them, Xian Shalingguan, despite having the advantage in realm, was unable to throw off the white robe. Faster, faster. Within the rolling sea of lightning, Mu Qingming pushed himself to the limit, ignoring the increasing number of charred wounds on his body, intent on breaking through the formation. However, just as he was mere inches from the edge of the formation, a terrifying wave of evil chi suddenly descended from above. This evil chi seemed to originate from the 9 netherworld, instantly shrouding the world, freezing even the thunder. A figure silently appeared. The newcomer was a refined old man, wearing simple cloth robes and holding a bamboo scroll in his hand. The gale fluttered his beard and hair, resembling the reincarnation of a supreme being from the Confucius temple. Yet, Chun Sansi saw through the Qi observation skill that this seemingly ordinary old man had no vitality within him. Clearly, a dead man, or rather a zombie. The great elder of immortal leader sect, late-stage nascent soul, corpse cultivator Shi Luojia, known as Fei Lian. This man was supposed to be on the front battlefield. How did he end up in Guangren Dao? No time to ponder. Chun Sansi roared and charged at the elder, the chaos true fire from him blazing and nearly igniting the heavenly dome. Insulting rascal! Fei Lian coldly snorted and tapped lightly in the direction of the white robe. Boom! Extreme cold corpse chi surged forward, extinguishing the chaos true fire on Chun Sansi, causing his golden body to dim significantly. This was not due to the chill countering his chaos true fire, but purely realm suppression. Late-stage nascent soul great cultivators, merely one step from divinity transformation, are exceedingly rare. With only a single strike, Chun Sansi's mana scattered, nearly vomiting blood on the spot, barely steadying himself so as not to pass out immediately. As an early-stage nascent soul, the gap between him and the late stage was like a foundation establishment cultivator facing a golden core, offering no chance to fight back. Fei Lian ignored Tianwu, instead turning his focus to the heavenly water Saint Sun, spitting out a pocket-sized flying sword that flashed by like a black meteor. The lightning wrapped around Mu Qingming instantly dissipated, sending him plummeting straight into the valley below. Brother Mu! Chun Sansi struggled over and caught him just before he smashed into the ground. Though rude, you do maintain some sense of righteousness. Fei Lian looked at the two supporting each other, slowly opening his palm and retrieving the previously cast pocket-sized flying sword, extending it into 7 feet long. This flying sword is entirely forged from bronze, with blood-red runes flowing across the blade like living creatures, emitting a chilling evil chi that almost freezes the void. This sword was originally contained in his mortal corpse's mouth when he died, as his life-bound spiritual treasure. After more than 2,000 years of nurturing, it has long become one of the most powerful treasures in the cultivation world. The sword's name is Shinku. The old man swung the sword's blade. He hadn't practiced any swordsmanship, and his moves were without any pattern or technique, as if he was truly a decrepit old man randomly chopping. Yet this very swing split the heavens and the earth with its sword intent. The sword chi tore through the sky and fell towards the ground, intending to cut down Chun Sansi and Mu Qingming along with the entire mountain range. This person's strength ranks among the top of the great cultivators. Neither of us is his match even for 1 round. Mu Qingming coughed twice. It seems we won't be able to break through today. Let's leave first. With that, he crushed a jade pendant, and both he and Chun Sansi abruptly disappeared from their original position, leaving no trace behind. They managed to escape rather quickly. Xian Shalingguan scanned the surroundings, unable to find any trace of the two, as if they had vanished into thin air. No matter, Fei Lian said hoarsely. As long as the two of them live, that young friend will come over to rescue them. Giant Cliff City. A lantern suddenly shatters. Chun Sansi and Mu Qingming appear out of thin air. This is a talisman refined from an ancient treasure, capable of leaving an anchor point at the starting location, allowing the owner to teleport back instantly from thousands of miles away. Truly a life-saving artifact. As the Kungsu Saint Heir and rumored reincarnation of an immortal, Mu Qingming naturally possesses numerous similar trump cards, making it impossible for him to fall easily. After the two escaped back, they both collapsed to the ground almost simultaneously, continuously stuffing elixir pills into their mouths, healing with the help of other cultivators, and only after half a day did they catch their breath. That Fei Lian was indeed formidable. If the last sword had fallen, even if they didn't die, their physical bodies would certainly be destroyed. What? Shangguan Yun's face turned grim. Fei Lian has come? Are they determined to see us dead? The real person Xuanqing paced back and forth anxiously. The Great Formation inside Giant Cliff City is only a 4th rank mid-grade, barely able to resist against Xian Sha and Si Hang. If Fei Lian joins in attacking the city, it would take no more than 5 days before the city falls and we perish. Saint Air. Shangguan Yun asked, in the event that the intelligence cannot be sent out, how soon do you estimate Kungsu will dispatch reinforcements? Mu Qingming calculated. Considering this place is too far from the core battlefield, it would take at least 40 days from when they notice to mobilize manpower. Upon hearing this, everyone present instantly felt heartbroken. 40 days. By then, they would likely have long turned into heaps of yellow earth. Brother Chun. Mu Qingming asked, do you have any ideas left? Brother Mu jests, I've just entered the nascent soul stage, and haven't even wielded a proper spiritual treasure yet. Facing this situation, what can I do? Chun Sansi closed his eyes, deeply resenting this feeling of powerlessness. This feeling of resigning to fate is truly unbearable. Yet the cultivation world is precisely this way. No matter how wise and resourceful you are, if your realm is insufficient, there's only a path to death. If Giant Cliff City truly falls, Chun Sansi can only try to see if the spirit vein inside the city can be used to power the creation of an escape formation. Whoever can flee is whoever can flee. Perhaps we have one ally inside the city. Zhou Huanzhanren said, remember years ago at Broken Soul Cliff? Back at Broken Soul Cliff, everyone was in a desperate situation, only rescued by a mysterious person. But this mysterious person never showed up again. There was indeed such a person, but the real person Xuanqing replied, even if he were here, he is only a golden core cultivator and can offer no help to the current situation. The entire Giant Cliff City sank into a state of despair. Taoist Shangguan. Chun Sansi approached the cultivators of demon-slaying sect left within Guangren Dao, attempting to inquire if reinforcements could be called faster. When Brother Tianwu cannot go out, how could I possibly manage? Shangguan Siheng sighed. However, if our luck is good, Senior Dugu might just be nearby. Chen Sansi could only give up. Just as he shifted his focus to formations, considering how to maximize the number of people who could escape once the city fell, the young Taoist named 16 came to find him. Don't worry, Brother Tianwu, little 16 said. Our Supreme Elder is already on his way. Oh! Chun Sansi was surprised. With communications cut off from inside and outside, how do you know this? The young Taoist explained. Prior to the city's downfall, Elder Su Tai Su had sent a letter, informing us of this. The elder also mentioned that no matter what situation arises, Brother Chun should remain calm and quickly repair the formation. Mixed Yuan Great Formation? Chun Sansi looked at the young Taoist with curiosity. Shouldn't a message from a Qingshu sect elder be first relayed to Master Xuanqing, the sect leader, whether this time or last time? Why does 16, a servant disciple, always know it first? Also, he recalled something. A long time ago in Baihua Valley, a senior sister once lost control, and just when the situation was about to become uncontrollable, a mysterious person suddenly wielded the soul-suppressing bell to assist. Could it be? Of course, this is purely speculation at the moment. I understand. Chun Sansi nodded. After the young Taoist left, he retrieved the mixed yuan array plate. Is Zhang Huiqing really coming himself? What does this have to do with this array plate? He doesn't know what sort of plan the other party has, yet is willing to help. Repairing a 5th-rank great formation isn't an easy task. 5 days passed by in a flash. Unexpectedly, the Demon Path army did not attack the city. Indeed, though they had occupied the entire Guangren Dao, led by late-stage nascent soul great cultivators, they could easily break the city, yet they had not moved. Even the formations laid down by Si Hang and others within Guangren Dao had not been activated. This sieging without assault is more terrifying than a direct attack, because it indicates there may be a larger conspiracy behind. From a military strategy perspective, laying siege without attacking can be attributed to 3 possibilities: forcing the city's defenders to surrender, aiding somewhere else in distress, or luring reinforcements into an ambush. Forcing a surrender can be excluded initially. Coercion aims to reduce one's losses, and the defenders in Giant Cliff City pose no threat to the Demon Path. Aiding somewhere else makes sense. Perhaps the Demon Path army faced a stalemate on the front lines and thus dispatched Fei Lian to Guangren, attracting reinforcements to relieve pressure on the main battlefield, while luring reinforcements into an ambush seems the most probable. The target for the reinforcements. Chun Sanxi's expression tightened. Not good. It's Zhang Huiqing. He finally understood what the Demon Path had been scheming over the years in Guangren. Their true targets all along are Zhang Huiqing and the Qingshu sect. The reason for sieging without attacking is to use the entire Qingshu sect as hostages, luring Zhang Huiqing here. No way. Chun Sanxi rushed out of the tent and grabbed the young Taoist. Taoist 16. Quickly contact Elder Su and tell them not to let Elder Huiqing come to Guangren. It's a trap. A trap. The young Taoist looked bewildered. But I've already said, the communication had occurred before the siege, and now I have no means to contact the elders. Chun Sanxi let go, his expression grave. He had to quickly seek Mu Qingming to discuss, sparing no effort to send out a warning. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Good news. As they spoke, the true person Xuanqing arrived, running on his flying sword with joy on his face to report, "Brother Tianwu, marvelous news! My brother-in-arms, Huiqing, has arrived outside Guangren with the elders of the Holy Sect, and they are about to rescue us. Quick! Notify Elder Huiqing," Chun Sanxi said with a grave expression. "Tell him to observe from outside Guangren and not rush to rescue us." What? Xianchang Zhenren obviously did not understand. "I can't contact the outside. I only gathered intelligence through border anomalies. Please, Senior, take me to see it," Chun Sanxi said. The group arrived atop Giant Cliff City walls, only to see the demonic forces outside the city greatly reduced, gathering on the southwest side of Guangren instead. Boom! The thundercloud Great Formation was forcibly torn open. In an instant, the sky was covered with auspicious clouds. The originally overwhelming Yin Sha Qi melted away like snow, causing even the magic artifacts in the hands of the demonic cultivators to quickly lose their spiritual nature, turning into useless scrap iron. Above the cloud peak, a figure quietly descended. Upon closer look, it was a middle-aged man with a dignified appearance. Qingshu Sect Supreme Elder, Zhang Huiqing. He, Emperor Tianqi, Zhao Rui, spoke loudly. "So it is Taoist Zhang gracing us with his presence. I apologize for not welcoming you sooner. Please forgive us." Zhao Rui. Zhang Huiqing's face was as calm as still water, but his voice echoed through the 9 heavens with authority. "You, granted favor by heavenly water, have committed grave crimes of magnificent proportions. Why not quickly retreat and follow me to confess your sins before Kungsu?" Favor. Zhao Rui scoffed at the words. "Heaven creates all things to nurture people. All resources on this earth are given by the heavenly Tao to all beings. Everyone can attain them. How come the major sects monopolize them and give us a pitiable scrap, then call it a bestowed favor? Isn't it ridiculous? As for you, Taoist Zhang, you seem not to understand your situation." "Oh." Zhang Huiqing stood with hands behind his back. "Then why don't you tell me, what is my situation? Possessing the chi fortune of the human race, yet being feared by others." Zhao Rui said coldly, "If you don't change your allegiance, you'll die without a place to be buried. Better to keep the threats to a minimum." Zhang Huiqing said calmly, "Bring out your Uncle Master Fei Lian. Taoist Zhang needs not rush to see Senior Fei Lian." Chu San Yuan stood suspended in the air. "Since you're here, why not first let us discern whether the foundation of your cross-border breakthrough is solid?" From within the morning stick in her hand came a series of piercing cries as infant wraiths emerged, overwhelming the space in front. On the flanks, Feng Qingyan, Xian Shalingguan, and others joined forces, ready to besiege this young great cultivator who had made a name for himself in recent years. Zhang Huiqing brought his fingers together, forming a sword. The Qingyun suddenly coiled into 99 sword-shaped cloud streams, each trailing end transforming into golden lamps, beaded necklaces, and droplet illusions, pouring down with a crushing force. Countless wraiths vanished immediately under the illumination of Qingyun. Chu San Yuan howled, spitting out blood in panic, retreating in a hurry, almost dying on the spot under the sword qi. The attacks of the others were also dispelled the moment they touched the Qingyun. Feng Qingyan. Zhang Huiqing's gaze caught the Wanxiang sect elder, first easily shattering the mountain drawn by him. Then, with a hand extended, the white auspicious clouds transformed into innumerable bindings, firmly holding him in place, harshly questioning. Why ally with the enemy? Just because of the spirit vein? Is that a minor matter? Feng Qingyan struggled as he said, that spirit vein nearly concerns the foundation of my Wanxiang sect. Besides, even without us, do you think the heavenly sect would spare you? Heavenly sect? Zhang Huiqing narrowed his eyes. Are you talking about the heavenly sword sect? It's indeed them. Taking advantage of his inattention, Feng Qingyan pulled out a sapphire bead from his sleeve and offered it forward. An intense cold burst forth. Ice spurs extended rapidly, almost shattering the void. Yet Zhang Huiqing remained unaffected. The auspicious clouds around him drifted like flames, easily dissolving the ice spurs, then transforming into a sharp sword, boldly striking towards Feng Qingyan's neck. At this moment, a black light whistled in, shattering the cloud sword. Then like a hot knife through butter, it plunged into the Qingyun. This time, the Qingyun could not easily dissolve it. The extreme Yin Sha Qi of the Mirage Skull Sword clashed with the extreme auspicious Qi of the heavenly Qingyun, causing turbulence before finally exploding. Boom! The heavenly dome overturned. Just the aftershocks forced the nascent soul cultivators to retreat continually. Senior Fei Lian. Zhang Huiqing looked at the elegant old man in front and spoke. I know you're a corpse cultivator, but deep down, you still long for the Tao of humanity. Why not abandon the darkness for the light? The holy sect might even help you reshape a living body. Young Huiqing. Fei Lian chuckled grimly. You are the body I have chosen. Then I must ask Senior to meet his demise. Zhang Huiqing formed a seal with one hand, drawing a silver long sword from the clouds in the sky. The sword was 3 feet and 3 inches long, its entirety resembling a cold river under the moon. The sword body, flowing with silver light, bore a spiral cloud vortex design. The sword guard featured 9 wind seal scripts, each embedded with a piece of azure stone marrow. The hilt was entwined with cloud-patterned damask woven from millennia-old silk, with a hollow jade bell suspended at the end. Though bell-less, it resonated with the gang wind of the 9 heavens when the sword swung, producing a sharp, tearing sound. Top-grade spiritual treasure, Cloud Dragon Chasing Mist Sword. When wielded, before the blade arrived, cloud chi surged. Where silver light passed, 36 layers of cloud barriers formed out of thin air. Reality and illusion overlapped like a dragon hidden in the mist. The sword's cloud vortex could devour spiritual energy within 100 zhang radius, transforming into shattered mist sword chi, each strand of which tore the cloud sea like a hurricane, leaving fine spatial fissures at the rupture points. The hanging jade bell clear roar can vibrate the divine soul. Ordinary cultivators would feel as if they are falling into the clouds, their 5 senses shrouded by mist. Zhang Huiqing's every move seems capable of sweeping up the entire heavenly dome. Even ordinary nascent soul cultivators cannot approach at all. Only Fei Lian, wielding the Mirage Skull Sword. As the sword edge moves, it seems to stir up 1,000 bones, with evil chi flowing as if it comes from the underworld. As the two clash, they split the sky in 2, half with auspicious clouds filling the heavens, the other half shrouded in an ominous evil mist, stark black and white. At the same time, several more nascent soul cultivators rushed to aid, among them Elder Su and other elders from the upper sect, leading over 1,000 cultivators to break into Guangren Dao, launching attacks against the other demon path cultivators. Where are Mu Qingming and the others? Elder Gongsun Baoruei from Wuxiang Palace mutters while casting spells. We've finally fought our way in to free them. Why haven't they sent anyone to help? Coming. Wait. Why is there only one person? In the view of everyone, they see a lone figure riding a white horse coming from the direction of Giant Cliff City towards the battlefield. Elder Huiqing, Elder Su, you must leave quickly. Chan Sansi warns with all his might. Guangren Dao is very likely to be a trap. What? Gongsun Baoruei is startled. They then notice that the thundercloud formation previously torn apart has somehow quietly repaired itself. Zhao Rui, Xian Shalingguan, Feng Qingyan, and Ci Hang split up, each holding a token and arranging them in different positions, chanting eerie spells in unison. Scarlet banners rise from the ground, like blood-colored meteors reaching 10,000 feet high. Countless beams of light burst from the banners, interweaving into a web-like blood boundary in the night sky. The boundary descends like a giant copper bell, trapping the entire Guangren Dao within. Why has the sky darkened? Within Giant Cliff City, Deng Wuchang and others look up, their faces instantly turning pale. The ground begins to tremble. Within the city, blood-colored vines crawl out from the seams of the green stone pavement, the dark red veins climbing along the roof eaves like living things, in the blink of an eye covering the whole city with pulsating blood vessels. I can't move. Ah! A cultivator who was resting against the city wall suddenly finds his body stuck to the wall, unable to break free no matter how he struggles. Soon, his flesh begins to dissolve. The wall, it turns out, is eating people. Save me! Save me! He cries out in terror. Nearby, two cultivators realize the situation and reach out to pull him out, only to hear a crack. They only manage to pull out two arms, while the cultivator's body is completely consumed by the wall, soon leaving nothing but bare bones. What kind of evil technique is this? Ah! More and more people scream in terror. Every brick and tile has become a man-eating demon beast. Hum Armo Gabishet Nat Dharma Pora. The hoarse chant slowly rises, growing stronger and nearer until like a poisonous snake, it drills into everyone's mind. Above the heavenly dome, a huge Buddha's wand symbol appears, slowly rotating like a compass. From the bloody clouds suddenly emerges a golden lacquer-worn Buddha's palm, with countless twisted faces screaming in its palm lines. As the palm slowly parts the clouds, a Buddha enthroned upside down on a lotus seat reveals its form. This Buddha, whose face should be benevolent, is covered in web-like cracks. The left eye is a hollow black fire, and the right eye leaks golden blood, embedded with 800 rotating skulls in the merit golden wheel behind his head. The 9th grade lotus seat beneath him is clearly composed of 100,000 human leg bones, each joint twitching madly. As the lotus platform rotates, thick black mist seeps from the bone seams, forming dense Sanskrit characters wafting across the city. The mortals in the city collapse first, driven mad by the chant, running crazed through the streets with crimson blood pouring from their 7 orifices. Their blood pearls don't fall to the ground, but instead float in mid-air, forming blood chains that weave the entire city into a scarlet birdcage. Inverse 7 Torments Reincarnation Array? Zhang Huiqing gazes at the blood-colored Buddha phantom spanning heaven and earth, quickly recognizing the formation. Those of the demon path who occupied Guangren Dao laid out such a vicious array using the spirit vein here. This formation begins by driving people insane, then transforms the world into a living entity that consumes its inhabitants, ultimately refining them into a blood pill. This formation is the prime secret array of the evil god path in ancient times, with immense consumption, soon draining the spirit vein completely. Of course, correspondingly, it's also a 5th rank in power. 5th grade array, meaning even divinity transformation cultivators trapped here, if unable to dispel the array, have only one path to death. Ha 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 ha. Duomu Daojun laughs wildly. Even if Guangren Dao has a myriad of living creatures, they'll all become elixir pills in our stomachs. Damn it! Gongsun Baoruei curses. Chun Lei, since you knew they had set a trap long before, why didn't you warn us sooner? After the token was lost, we were unable to send messages to the outside. Chan Sansi resists the mind-confusing spells. Moreover, this formation is likely already planned for many years. Zhang Huiqing sighs. This matter isn't Chun Lei's fault. Then it's Mu Qingming's fault. Gong Sun Baowei curses. That guy, as the Saint Air stationed at Guangrendao, ended up losing even the Great Formation. At this point, blaming each other is meaningless. Zhang Huiqing's expression is grave. We should retreat into Giant Cliff City first, and then seek a chance to break the formation. He has no heart for lingering in battle, releasing the Cloud Dragon chasing Mist Sword that transforms into Cloud Strait for the Immortal Leader Sect Elders. Afterward, he waves his hand, enveloping all cultivators within the auspicious Qing Yun, escaping the battlefield at an almost imperceptible speed to return to Giant Cliff City. Heh! Xian Shalingguan coldly chuckles at their retreating figures. The formation is set. I'd like to see how long they can hide. Si Hang. Fei Lian retrieves the flying sword into his mouth and asks in a deep voice, how long will it take for this formation of yours to start refining? Short as 20 days, long as 50 days, all depends on their resistance. Master Si Hang smiles. Once the formation is finalized, regardless of how many living beings are in Guangrendao, they'll be refined into blood pills. Speed up. Chu San Yuan coughs. Mu Qingming, Zhang Huiqing. These are the leading youths of Skywater Continent. Should they fall here, those old geezers will definitely not hesitate to come over. Rest assured. Feng Qingyan strokes his beard. Indeed, someone will come, but it'll be our own people. Once the formation completes with some staged fights, it will all be over. Taoist Feng. Emperor Tianqi abruptly asks, I understand Heavenly Sword Sect wants to kill Zhang Huiqing, but will they really let Mu Qingming die here too? What's there to begrudge? Feng Qingyan replies indifferently. Though the three heavenly sects appear harmonious on the surface, they've had their share of open and covert strife. Mu Qingming is fundamentally a disciple of Kungsu. Heavenly Sword Sect lost their heir, Chao Xie, years ago, and they're eager to weaken Kungsu's strength. Mu Qingming isn't just an heir issue. Zhao Rui's gaze deepens, seemingly pondering something but in the end does not continue the discussion, simply orders. Send word. Hasten the array to full operation. Even if it destroys Guangrendao's spirit vein, complete the refinement soon. Bang! The enormous blood-colored Buddha joins its palms together, chanting rapidly. The eerie Buddha light from the Wan character also grows more intense. Giant Clifftop City. Raise the strength of the city protection array to the maximum. But if we do so, the spirit veins in the city might accelerate to exhaustion. As long as we can hold for one more day, we shall do so. Yes. Not long after the inverted seven-suffering array was activated, everyone was enveloped within the boundary. Each day when they looked up, they saw the bloody Buddha hanging between heaven and earth, and their ears were filled with a low, strange Buddhist chant. In such a high-pressure environment, slightest instability in mind could lead to energy deviation, and any slight relaxation in state could cause them to be swallowed by walls, beams, tables, chairs, or even the stone slabs under their feet. Perhaps there is still a way out. Shangguan Yunji said, Taoist Zhang and Taoist Mu are trapped here too. The heavenly sect will definitely not sit idly by. Perhaps it won't be long before a senior of divinity transformation comes in person. Someone will certainly come. Master Yuling murmured. I'm just afraid that by then, it will be people from the Heavenly Sword Sect. What does Taoist Yuling mean by this? Shangguan Yunji paused, then said, could it be that our current predicament is somehow related to the Heavenly Sword Sect? Does that even need questioning? Master Xian Chang snorted. Even if you lend the Wanxiang sect 1,000 guts, they wouldn't dare collude with the demon path unless they were instructed by a powerful backer. How is that possible? Gong Sun Baowei exclaimed in disbelief. Master Xianchang, you must be mistaken? The Heavenly Sword Sect is one of the three major heavenly sects. How could they collaborate with the demon path? What's so impossible? Master Jiuhuan cursed. The Heavenly Sword Sect is guilty-minded, watching as our junior brother Huiqing becomes a late-stage nascent soul great cultivator, fearing that one day he will break through to divinity transformation and ascend Heavenly Sword Mountain to settle accounts with them. Settle accounts? Many core formation cultivators present looked at each other. Concerning the grievances between the Heavenly Sword Sect and the Qingshu Sect, they had all heard some rumors more or less. Could it be true? And have their disputes reached such a point? I don't believe it to be the case. Shangguan Yunji said, even in the case of such a significant incident, the Heavenly Sword Sect won't be able to give an explanation to the cultivation world. Right? Indeed, everyone echoed. Even if the Heavenly Sword Sect wanted to eliminate the Qingshu Sect, they would never choose such a method. Killing two contemporary prodigies and a group of golden core and nascent soul cultivators, then losing a region would just be courting death. Not to mention the Heavenly Sword Sect, even if Kungsu did something like this and got caught, they would be sought after by the two other major heavenly sects and cultivators worldwide. Even Master Xian Chang began to doubt. Is the Heavenly Sword Sect really planning to harm 1,000 enemies at the cost of 800 of their own? Talking about these is useless now. Gongsun Baoruei said, the urgent priority is to think of a way. If no one comes to rescue us soon, or if the seniors from the Heavenly Sect are hindered, how should we save ourselves? Everyone present. Zhang Huiqing glanced across the crowd. Who here is proficient in the path of formations? I primarily cultivate in formations. Gongsun Baoruei paused. But this inverted reincarnation array, without external help, is almost impossible to decipher from within. I also have some understanding of formations. Chun Sansi's reply was similar, but so far, I indeed cannot see the flaws in the formation. Then please, both of you, lead the other Taoists who understand formations, and try to come up with ideas. Zhang Huiqing said calmly, in 20 days, if we still can't break the formation, we'll discuss it further. Crash! Just as everyone was discussing, a thunderous sound suddenly came from the sky above giant clifftop city. Next, they saw below the boundary hovering over the inverted Great Formation, a large gathering of thunderclouds forming, flickering with lightning as if a primordial ancient beast was descending from the void. Nascent soul heavenly tribulation. Why is someone undergoing a tribulation now? Who is it? The cultivators looked at each other, guessing which sect or clan's elder was undergoing tribulation at this critical juncture, only to find that all cultivators above Golden Core were gathered here. Damn! Then who could it be? It's him. Chun Sansi recalled the mysterious figure at Broken Soul Cliff. Initially appearing in the late core formation stage, nearly 10 years have passed, and now undergoing a nascent soul tribulation, the timing aligns perfectly. He converged his mana, his body transforming into a stream of light soaring into the air, rushing towards the direction of the heavenly tribulation, closely followed by others, eager to uncover the mystery. However, when they arrived at the site of the heavenly tribulation en masse, everything came to an abrupt halt. The thunderclouds dissipated, the lightning extinguished, leaving only a sky full of the blood-hued boundary, as if nothing had happened. What happened? Why is this Taoist acting so furtively? The crowd speculated and searched nearby but couldn't find any traces, so they had to give up in the end. After all, compared to the formation hanging overhead, having an additional mysterious nascent soul cultivator around wasn't considered a big deal. Chun Sansi returned to the central army tent to focus on refining formations. The inverted reincarnation array is a 5th-grade formation. To find a way to break it would require at least reaching the level of a top-grade 4th-rank array master. A short few dozen days certainly isn't enough, but it's better than sitting around waiting for death. Military camp. Tens of thousands of Great Han soldiers gathered within the city, making the military camp appear extremely cramped. Relying on the augmentation of national fortune mystical energy, they weren't immediately refined by the inverted array, but even so, under the cover of chanting scriptures, each was bloodshot in the eyes, teetering on the brink of madness. Old man feels like he's not going to make it. 70-odd years old, the white-haired Xiong Chuan lay on the ground, speaking weakly and laboriously. Old Lou, don't forget to burn me some paper money every year in the future.